This is SRN News.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good news. You can own gold through your 401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement account, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for an info kit from Birch Gold that's entirely free, zero cost or obligation. Text that next step right now and take it. Text FAITH to the number 989898 for your free info kit. That's FAITH to 989898.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
Football season is here. Do you have your picks in on Sleeper? Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money. For new users, Sleeper will even match your first deposit with up to $100 credit to your account. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code MONDAY for a credit up to $100 match on your first deposit. That's code MONDAY. Must be 18 years in most states and in state where it is legal. Promo code and other restrictions apply. Visit sleeper.com. Please wager responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program officially. Seems we've gotten all the technical issues worked out. Eddie Bader is here. How you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing pretty good, Joey. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. And, well, as promised, and I told a few folks behind the scenes we would be having her on the show. Ebony Evans is here in the studio with us.
Hello.
Hey, Ebony.
Glad to be here.
So there is a big effort, and it's your name that has come up to make you a write-in candidate. This will be for District 7 for the Montgomery County Board of Education.
That's right.
So how did this come about from your perspective? Because there's been a lot of drama around MPS. So, like, how did folks land on we need to write in Ebony Evans' name to make this thing right?
Well, you know, it all came to a head on September 23rd when the superintendent resigned and the board accepted his resignation. Now you have the number one superintendent in the country, and you get rid of him. I mean, where do you go from there? So that showed a lot of instability with the board, and so a group of concerned community leaders got together and ended up making a call to me.
Okay.
So I don't know how many people were before me or how many people were after me, but they made a call to me, and it did touch on my heartstrings because the kids actually suffer at the end of the day because of all the instability, the micromanaging, the personal agendas that get in the way. Kids lose at the end of that. And so when I got the call, I said, definitely. I was first volunteering to knock on doors, but when they said, you know, we think you'd be a great write-in candidate, and I said, well, I'm willing to serve.
Now, I'd imagine since your name came up, since they called you, you had been working in and around the education space. So what is your experience background in this area?
Not only for my 9 to 5 at HSI, we operate school-based health centers with NPS. So I'm already very familiar with Montgomery Public Schools, try to do the best work to make sure that students that are there, some of them have never seen a doctor, some of them never seen a dentist, some of them haven't had their eyes checked. And we're able to bring that service inside of the schools. And so we had a great working relationship with them. We're able to see all of the students at NPS to perform behavioral health care services as well. So we had a good relationship. We still have one at HSI. But then I have a background with Montgomery Christian Schools. And so I'm on the board of directors currently for Montgomery Christian Schools. And this is coming up in the end of my second term. And so I just have a heart for students.
So you have an experience with kids, but then you also have an experience of actually what's your role on a board, so to speak?
And that's what I want to redefine with NPS. Board roles, board governs. So it's not the day-to-day operations. Right. That's what the superintendent is for. And you don't want to blur those lines because that's when it gets dangerous and you see the situation that we're in now. So you want to focus back on passing a budget, strategic plan, all policies that need to be together. That's the overseeing part of it. And so you want to step back and then let the superintendent handle their job in the day-to-day operations with the teachers, with the principals, with students and parents. Now, I'm not saying you don't get involved. We're community leaders. We're going to be talking out in the community and saying, what do you need? What do you want? What can we do to better, your child's experience? Right. But you don't bring the negativity into the day-to-day school.
Well, and the way Dr. Brown stepped aside, I watch a lot of media. It's kind of what I do. And the way he stepped aside was not only classy, but it left me more questions of, why is this young, talented man saying, I'm done with this?
I can no longer take it.
Yeah.
Due to the safety of my mental health, I can no longer take this. And when you run someone off like that, that's dangerous.
Yeah. And so, day one, say you do win this write-in campaign. And again, folks, Ebony Evans, your name will not be on the ballot.
Right.
So people need to write in this in particular District 7 for the Montgomery County Board of Education.
So it's District 7. It is a small area, but you do need to write in my name. You can vote straight ticket, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, but that is the very last race. Montgomery County School Board of Education, District 7. It's against Erica Watkins Smith, and you'll bubble in that area right beneath her name and write in Ebony, Ebony, Evans, Evans.
Excellent. Pretty straightforward. Now, if you do, say, win this campaign, what does day one look like? How do you, because you'll be one person entering into a board that's made this decision already, these sorts of decisions. So what's your approach as you get in there?
My approach is that day one, we have to remember that one board member has no power, zero power. I'm one board member. I have an opinion and I can speak on behalf of my district, but I have zero power. As a full board and as a collective board, that's where the power is. Right. So we have to remember that one person cannot control a whole board. And we have to say, okay, this is your idea. This is what your district and your community is asking for. This is what mine is asking for. They have questions. And just to be an open book, the board should be an open book. And we have to encourage more parents and community leaders to come to the meeting. It's not just, go to the city council meeting, or sometimes the county commission meeting. You need to come to the school board meeting too.
Absolutely. And more involvement, I think, solves a lot of this. Let's zoom out a little bit, though. When you look at just public education in Montgomery County, where has it kind of been? What sort of progress have we seen, and where do you hope for it to go?
We're in limbo right now, and we just need some stability. How are we going to find a superintendent now? Who's going to want to come after that? That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough going in day one and saying, hey, come to Montgomery. Right. Well, why? What happened to the last guy? Well, he left because of some bullying and a little bit of micromanaging. No big deal. Nobody's going to want to come after that. So that's number one, bringing back stability to the board. Some board members need to leave. If you can't get on one accord, maybe that it's not the calling for you anymore. Not to say you didn't do a good job in the past, but now we're needing some stronger voices, some stronger people to stand 10 toes down for these students. And so that's just what day one looks like, coming in and trying to bring that look at the city. If you don't have public education, public safety, two main things that people look at when moving.
That's right. You're exactly
I
right.
work in a role that we try to recruit doctors. We can't recruit doctors
Right.
with how they're bringing their families here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel safe, and their children are not properly educated.
But it
They're
does seem like the reaction to all this, there is an energy in the community, the broader Montgomery community, of wanting to get this right, and people are tired of being in limbo.
Absolutely. And that's what I can bring. I can bring stability, and I pride myself on being a stronger voice for the students.
Now, where do your children go to school?
That's the funny part about that. I heard my children were in private schools, and unfortunately, I don't have children.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Oh.
I don't have children.
So somebody was really making up a
they're
Yeah.
really off with that one, unfortunately. And you try not to get into the negative naysays on the Facebook and stuff, because people can post whatever they want to post. But the truth is, I don't have children. I have a heart for children, but I don't have any in my house.
Now, you said you're involved on the board, 2 terms, Montgomery Christian School. How did you get involved with that? How did you end up serving on the board?
Another instance where I was there to talk about my HSI job and what we can bring to those students there. And, they recruited me. The executive director, Pamela McLemore, said, hey, we have an opportunity on our board, and I think you'd be perfect. And so I help with strategic planning process on that board, and look over the finances and help on that committee as well. So I'm pretty well involved in Montgomery Christian Schools. I hate to let them go, but if I do win this write-in campaign, I will have to let them go and just support them in other ways.
Yeah, no, but I think this is, the energy is there. And I keep reiterating the point that, people have their differences. This is one of the most bipartisan things I've seen in Montgomery in a long time. And so again, folks, it's a write-in campaign in District 7 for the Montgomery County Board of Education, right in Ebony Evans. And a lot of folks wanting to send a message, and hopefully it's more than just a message, it's actual change of leadership.
It is change. People are crying out for change right now. And if we don't move now, then when? If not me, then who? So I'm glad to be able to step in this role and do what I can. I'm going to give my best. And that's all I can offer you, but it's going to be 100% my best on that board. So please write in Ebony Evans for District 7.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank
I really
you.
do. And best of luck.
Appreciate that.
We're only 20-something days away from
Yeah, 22.
it's
to be
22.
exact.
22. Wow.
22.
See,
It's
I'm
a
not
big
running.
election
I don't
all
need to
around.
know. I don't. It's just 20-something for me, but
Yeah.
22.
22 days away. So it's a write-in campaign, and we are really pushing. I have great supporters on the campaign that are really helping to get the word out, and so I appreciate them very much.
And we'd be happy to have you call in or stop by. You're here locally, closer to Election Day.
Yes.
Remind folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ebony. More news and views after this.
You may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of Central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. It's great seeing Ebony Evans again. Yeah, she's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Talking about healthcare.
We both thought she looked familiar. Which it was good to see her. It's good to see somebody that really wants to do it, that's got some care.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need some change happening, and I don't know what the problem is. It's time for change. Let's be nice.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
say
time.
for change.
It is. It's overdue. 272-9228 if you want to get in on that conversation, if you want to keep the conversation going about the local school board. And we'll see what happens. See if the write-in campaign is successful. Now, we were talking to Ebony off air about, just history.
Mm-hmm.
This successful SpaceX mission where they shot up, I think it was their heavy booster rocket. The rocket comes back from orbit, goes back to where it launched from, the same pad it launched from, and then it's caught by a robotic arm. Here's the moment.
Cool,
here's SpaceX's own coverage of that very moment.
Landing burn has been ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in the air.
The arms are moving. Now they're closing in. It's about to set down.
Booster landing burn shutdown.
Micadilla has popped the booster.
Hold me closer, Tiny Dancer.
That is crazy, man.
But it made it look so smooth, like they've done this 1,000 times.
Yeah, the first time. This is the first time trying it.
Man.
Now, we've got a clip of Elon explaining before this happened exactly how it would work, and it apparently went to plan. Here we go, folks.
With arms that are designed to catch the largest and heaviest flying object ever made and pluck it out of the air. That's the theory anyway. So
Elon just said, delete the legs, delete. We're like, well, what's you just use the arms, and then you said it again. They go, wow, he's serious. Okay, we better get on this. And now it seems normal. Or
it'll weigh about 250 tons. We'll make that lighter over time. So you got call it a couple hundred tons, plummeting at more than half the speed of sound. So this thing is still coming in really fast.
Yeah.
Pretty much down in a downward direction. So then the light the engines, so it's going to slow itself down very fast and correct any error. So like whatever the XY error is when the engines land, it's going to take out the XY error and then drop the velocity to basically zero. Come in between the arms. The arms will be wide, and as it's coming in, the arms will close. Go flush against the side of the vehicle, and the vehicle will be descending through the arms. And those tiny little, you can barely see them, the little knobs, those kind of lifting lugs will touch the top of the arms, and then it will hopefully not shear off and crumple. Success is one of the possible outcomes. The probability is uncertain, but
I would have liked to have known the odds, the real odds.
Yeah, nobody's ever
Especially
done it
getting
before.
right the first time.
But Elon just put this out, I guess, yesterday evening. Just inspected the Starship booster, which the arms have now placed back in its launch mount. Looks great. A few outer engine nozzles are warped from heating and some other minor issues, but these are easily addressed. Starship is designed to achieve reflight of its rocket booster ultimately within an hour after liftoff. The booster returns within approximately 5 minutes, so the remaining time is reloading propellant and placing a ship on top of the booster. Wow.
That's so cool.
And then when you see not only Tesla's reveal of robots last week, humanoid robots, I kind of did a deep dive on humanoid robots over the weekend. If you got a lot of American companies, the Chinese are way ahead. And some of them are, very humanoid, supposed to be helper around the house stuff. Some of it is more, doesn't look like humans, but it's for specific jobs, a lot of factory bots and whatnot. And then you combine this with all this AI, where every digital service you now use, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, or you're just searching for something on Google, the AI assistants are popping up. Even my fitness strap thing I'm wearing has AI capability plugged into
Happens
it.
on Facebook too. It's kind of frustrating.
It's like we're living in a frickin' sci-fi movie.
They're trying to program you, Joey.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Hey, well, so Elon, I tell you what, that is amazing.
Yeah.
What Elon Musk and the SpaceX, is that what they call it? I just, in your face, Jeff Bezos. What are you gonna do now? And oh, by the way, George Soros, what are you doing for humanity? Oh, that's right, you're out to destroy Western civilization.
Well, and before you keep going, I think you'll like this. Somebody put out a post saying, the SpaceX Starship team that sent a skyscraper into space and then caught it with giant chopsticks. That's pictured in this photo. Meanwhile, in the other photo, Boeing's space program has 50,000 employees and stranded 2 astronauts in space. But at least they received a 100% DEI rating and the designation of 2022's best place to work for LGBTQ plus equality.
Boy,
there you go. Hang your hat on something.
And let's get back to Merit.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's just a big old mess. But I tell you what, it is good to see advancements going. Hey, look, I want what is it? Rosie the robot?
Oh yeah,
dishes and laundry. That's what I need. I need one that just does dishes and laundry.
Tell you what, though, man, you think your phone's spying on you, your TV's spying on you. This thing is more than just audio. It's getting everything in your house.
I get you, but your phone's kind of doing that too.
Kinda.
This thing's watching you while you sleep. Well, your phone does too.
Is this going to be kind of like the robot movie with Will Smith, where all of a sudden somebody's going to flip a switch and they're all going to turn into militarized?
I just rewatched that. It's iRobot. I rewatched it with my grandfather on Saturday evening, and it kind of holds up. It's a very early aughts, not the greatest acting in the world, but a fun thriller. But that is the idea.
Sure.
That, what are the safety controls on this stuff?
I need a big, giant disconnect. And not only that, with what happened with the walkie-talkies and the pagers, you got to have a second.
Right.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. You can't be sure. That's the whole problem, really.
You're right. You're exactly right.
So, but, this is all interesting and everything. But Miss Ebony, I wish her the best success. I would say this, though, about our Montgomery public school system. It is not just the federal institutions that have got to be taken down and remade somehow. It's all the way down to the state and even, in some instances, the local governments. And MPS, I'm afraid, is just one of those institutions that it can't be fixed. It's got to be dismantled and, redone somehow. And it could very well be that some areas have to be placed under some sort of, state control or, under a, judgeship that, they can oversee, just like with the Montgomery police now, where they have not been allowed to do their job. State of Alabama is coming in, as well as the county, to do their job for them. If you won't do your job, there's somebody else that can do it, and you need to just stand out of the way. Stand away.
Oh, yeah.
And they have proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond anybody's ability to argue about it, they cannot do their job. They will not do their job for decades now. It is time to not just new leadership, but a whole new system in Montgomery public school systems.
Well, that's a heavy lift. You're not. That's a heavy lift, though, trying to get the state to do
Gotta start
that.
somewhere, though.
I would accept the approach of you actually empower a superintendent, give them big leeway to go in there and make structural changes that are needed. Somebody's, if you're going to have a new system, somebody has to be empowered, and I would trust a person more than I would trust a committee. And at this point, when it comes to MPS's superintendent record, we're worse than Auburn head coaches. And, the Auburn Board of Trustees is a mess, but the board is here in Montgomery even worse.
Yeah, I would trust, the local people that have those local schools as their, that they are in charge to a degree, I think, but I think there's need for oversight, especially if continued failure goes on. It may very well be that somebody's going to have to come in, state appointed, whatever, with a lot of legal authority and be able to read the law, read the riot act to anybody that gets out of line and do some things about it. Look, I'm not I'm not beyond throwing some folks in jail or something. If they can't do their job, if they won't do their job, something else got to happen. So anyway, hope they can get it straightened out. But I'll be honest with you, I don't have hope at this point. So hope maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see.
I don't think so.
Appreciate it, Bobby.
I don't think so. All right, bye.
Hey, buddy.
272-9228. And by the way, with all this amazing stuff SpaceX was able to do over the weekend, get a load of the story. This is from Friday. I almost got to it Friday. I'm glad we're doing it now. California rejects further SpaceX rocket launches after Musk's quote-unquote aggressive presidential race involvement. State officials have rejected SpaceX's plans to launch further rockets in California after Elon Musk's recent aggressive insertion into the U.S. presidential race. That's a heck of a terminology.
What's that got to do with the price of eggs in Arizona?
Questions have been raised as to whether actions by the space exploration company owned by Musk should be considered federal or private activity. The plan to increase the number of SpaceX rocket launches up to 50 a year was rejected by the California Coastal Commission on Thursday, with some officials citing Musk's incredibly political post on his social media platform X.
So because you didn't like his post, you're going to do your best to hold back someone that's really trying to move mankind forward?
We're dealing with a company, the head of which has aggressively injected himself into the presidential race, said Commission Chair Carroll, spelled Caryl, Hart. As well be Karen. This company, SpaceX, is owned by the richest person in the world with direct control of what could be the most expansive communication system on the planet, Commissioner Mike Wilson said. Just last week, that person was talking about political retribution. Okay, I'm just going to say it now. It has nothing to do with characteristics that you can't control. It has everything to do with what you can control.
Yep.
You people on this Coastal Commission in California, not like they can hear me right now, you're inferior people because of your inferior concerns. I'm so tired of this.
Oh, I agree. It's ridiculous. You're willing to hold back mankind because you got a little butt hurt?
Yeah.
Because he's on the side that you're not on?
Elon Musk is hopping about the country, spewing and tweeting political falsehoods and attacking FEMA while claiming his desire to help hurricane victims with free Starlink access to the internet, said Commissioner Gretchen Newsom. Or is it Newscomb?
Newscomb.
Members of the commission also lauded military officials for their work to reach an agreement about further launches following the assurances that steps would be taken to mitigate damage to local wildlife. However, they added their main concern is that it should be SpaceX representatives who appear before the commission to obtain permits for the company's growing rocket program, not military officials. It is essential that SpaceX apply for a coastal development permit. We're going to hit a wall here. You parasites, you middle management parasites, get out the way. Trying to build the future here, damn it. That's nuts. Inferior people because of their inferior concerns. You get a little bit of power. And you think you can make demands on a man who's building the future. Is he perfect? No.
You said he was a man, right?
But I'm so tired of this. My feelings are hurt. My politics is upset. Or blah, 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 blah. Get over it and get out the way.
Yeah.
Move. Which? Get out the way. 272-9228. We got to hit a break here.
Right.
But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you fellas out. Especially if you're noticing a whole, say, package of symptoms. Like all sorts of symptoms, a battery of symptoms. Like they're all happening at once. Like lack of energy, you're always tired, losing like drive to do things in your life, including a decrease in sex drive, seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass. You didn't change your workout habits. You're not eating more. You're even feeling like you're just walking through your life in a fog. All of this combined can especially mean you might have low testosterone problems. So what you need to do is stop by Montgomery Men's Health. Hey, and it happens to guys naturally as they get in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Sure does, Joey.
But it's happening more and more often to men in their 20s and 30s. Especially if you're younger experiencing these symptoms, get by Montgomery Men's Health. And the providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low-T treatments at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism.
That'd be nice.
You usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What'll it be, Joe?
Coffee and apple pie. Whoa, Madge, what was that?
The lights? Oh, they always dim when the dishwasher turns on.
You should call Crosby Electric.
You think?
Overloaded circuits at your business can be dangerous. The experts at Crosby Electric can upgrade your electrical service to safely handle the load. And they can add receptacles where needed to eliminate overuse of extension cords.
Madge, I'd like to pay you. The problem is it's so dark in here I can't read my bill.
No, the problem is you're cheap.
Well, that's a problem too.
Effective, attractive lighting is essential for any business. Crosby Electric can help with a new lighting scheme that will give your business a fresh, exciting look. And they can recommend outdoor lighting for greater safety and security.
That'll be $4.50 for the coffee and pie, Joe.
Well, don't I get anything for recommending Crosby Electric?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Don't put off essential electrical upgrades for your business. Call 272-2085 or visit crosbyelectric.com.
Hey, this is David Little from Tucker Pecan Company. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for over 10 years now, and the results have been amazing. Every day we have new customers that come in that have heard us on all the different radio stations that we advertise on. If you want to help your business grow, the best way to do it is through radio advertising through Blue Water Broadcasting. They do a great job in promoting our business and helping us grow our business, and hopefully they can help you grow your business too.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. The first taste of Canadian air is in our future this week as a cold front swings through the state. On this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, high temperature up to about 84. Tonight, clear skies, rather cool, overnight low 52. Tomorrow's high up to about 74, a little breezy. But by Wednesday, I think the highs are only in the 60s. Sunshine dominates, but chilly at night. I think we'll tease 40 degrees for the morning low on Thursday around dawn. Dry through the week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Yeah, turn a little more.
Can't really see. I got a mic in my face. There we go.
So it's Columbus Day. You know how your calendar on your phone will auto-populate like holidays?
Yes.
And so I'm looking at mine now, and it says both Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. All right, so we now have like two different names for the same holiday.
Yep.
This is kind of like how is it Kiev or Kyiv?
Tomato.
Because it's Kiev chicken, not Kyiv chicken.
You're right. It's Kiev chicken.
Now we got to change everything up.
I don't think so.
But I'm just sitting here going, can't the Italians catch a break?
No, Joey.
Because I got a feeling that they're sitting here looking at Columbus Day at this point going,
it's all a Fugazi. You know what a Fugazi is?
Yeah, that way.
Fugazi. It's a fake. Yeah, Fugazi. It's a wazi. It's a woozy. It's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist.
Right.
It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real. Right? All right.
Because I think there were people for years, and I know some here in Montgomery, especially in the Catholic community, where Columbus Day really is an important thing for Italian Americans. It was an attempt to
parades and everything
to assimilate and bring along Italian Americans for the discovery of the Americas.
Right.
And so there was a pride. I think this is a clip from a certain show that has a lot of Italians in it.
Oh.
He discovered America is what he did. He was a brave Italian explorer, and in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
I've seen that show.
Well, what's that show again? Here, let's play it again.
He discovered America is what he did. He was a brave Italian explorer,
Mm.
and in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
Great show. The Sopranos is
Great show.
fantastic.
Ending was weird, but great show.
But now surrounding all this, you've got all the different competing theories. And the latest one out today from NBC News, according to studies by Spanish scientists, the 15th century explorer Christopher Columbus was a Sephardic Jew from Western Europe. So he's not even Italian.
Nope. 5A.
Several countries have argued over the origins and the final burial place of the divisive figure, who led Spanish-funded expeditions from the 1490s onward, opening the way for the European conquest of the Americas. Why do we act like the European conquest of the Americas is some unique sin when like every culture on earth is based in conquest and sacrifice of innocence?
Because we let it.
Yep.
That's it.
It really is. The more history I read,
I'm
like, this is nuts to single out like one culture and be like, you conquered people. It's like, okay, how about China? How about Russia? How about, say, the Muslim empires that popped up all around the Arab world? Or how about the Persians? What about the Greeks? The Romans?
All of
Don't
the
get me
above.
started on Africa.
All of the above.
Plenty of empires in Africa conquering one another over the centuries and the millennia. So, like, why pick on this? Oh, it's because they were really, really successful. And it built this incredible world to where people now have the right to complain about it. And to pretend that if they become so penitent about their own history, that somehow history will end. And there will be no need, once we atone, to actually be strong and to stand up for ourselves. Yeah, it's one thing if you go to like a potluck dinner and you know it's going to be people from all over the world. Like, that's kind of a great experience, right?
Oh, yeah.
You get to try
Unique
different
dishes,
dishes and like people's unique take on cuisine. And I'm that type of guy. I like trying different types of food within reason. But can you imagine you're invited to a potluck dinner and you got nothing unique to bring yourself? Because that's where we're going. It's one thing to celebrate everybody's dish that they're bringing to the table. But when you shame a culture to the point of like, I don't even know what the dish is. I just want to try everybody else's.
Yeah.
It's a messed up place to be. And it has been a philosophy undergirding so much of, say, elite Western institutions now for decades and decades and decades. And what I'm starting to worry about, despite all this progress we're seeing, and by the way, thanks for listening, Lorraine. Thanks for listening. Call us one day. I know you're busy working, but thanks for listening, Lorraine. But despite all this progress, AI and robots and TVs are getting bigger and skinnier, which I certainly like.
They are.
Yeah, how are they getting bigger and skinnier at the same time? It's happening, though. Computing power. Faster and faster.
Smaller.
We're catching rockets back on their launch
catching
pad
rockets,
to
literally.
send them back up again immediately. You're seeing all sorts of amazing things, but are Americans psychologically healthier?
No, Joey. No.
You do have to wonder. Take, say, like the 1950s was a perfect place. Hell no. A lot of problems in the 1950s. But who do you think could do more with the tech we have now? The people living today or the folks in the 1950s?
Oh, folks in the 50s, by far.
Yeah. Show them artificial intelligence, large language models. They probably get it figured out faster than any of the companies
Well, not
competing
only that,
right now.
Just look how people freak out when their phone quits here.
Right. So I think there are there's old science fiction, especially turn of the 20th century science fiction. I think it's one called The Machine Died, and it's an old story where it's an advanced civilization where people live inside the core of this big machine that's like a planet.
Mhm.
One day the machine stops working and everybody just dies. Like, it's a fun story, but there have been people worried about this development for a while because progress and innovation has been happening for a while. So you have to wonder, do we have more luxuries in life or are we actually more prosperous? I think we have a lot more luxuries
We have
than
a
our
lot more
ancestors.
physical luxuries, yes, but mentally, no, we've lost.
Yeah, but we've seemed to have lost something. And I think part of it is this sort of hole in the soul, where the heart's supposed to be for your civilization. Doesn't mean you celebrate cruelty. Doesn't mean that you want to go conquer the whole world. I certainly don't. I think it's foolish, number one, and it would lead to a lot of cruelty and turn us into monsters while we claim to fight monster. Heck, it's already kind of done it to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about understanding our history, understanding our faith, that I think is a requirement to understanding how we got here. Will there be new things, new questions, begging for new answers? Yeah, Elon Musk and many others are doing that every day. Those people asking new questions and searching for new answers, it's a beautiful thing. But sometimes you need to remember the foundations that got you there. Else it's like a bridge in the middle of nowhere, stuck in the middle of the ocean. How did it get there? Nobody knows, but that's where we're standing. So again, back to this study, many historians have questioned the traditional theory that Columbus came from Italy. Other theories range from him being a Spanish Jew or a Greek, or Basque or Portuguese or British. To solve the mystery, researchers conducted a 22-year investigation led by forensic expert Miguel Lorente by testing tiny samples of remains buried in Seville Cathedral, long marked by authorities there as the last resting place of Columbus, though there had been rival claims. Wait. So we don't know for a fact that the remains they DNA tested were actually Columbus's.
Correct.
But we're going to run headlines saying he's a Sephardic Jew in the middle of Columbus Day.
Not to compare it to football, but you know how sometimes you'll go back and claim championships you really didn't have?
What are you talking about? I'm an Auburn fan. We don't do that.
We don't do that, but you know how that happens. Something like that.
Well, there's that one we probably could claim when coach.
We
that
could.
nice undefeated season. That was a heck of a season.
We're respectful enough to go, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually like to win them, not just look at coaches' polls.
That's true.
All right. Popularity contest of an elite athletic, cabal. Give me a break. Oh, all these rich boosters said it's true. It's not really. That's rich people doing that? That's interesting. Just finding consensus, not actually true things.
No.
We just all agree. So
We all agree, so therefore it's true.
All right. And in this theme, this clip's making the rounds today. This is Kamala Harris talking about Columbus Day. I mean, and this is, what you would expect if you actually know our vice president pretty well.
It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth about our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past.
Why?
And we must shed light on it.
Why?
And do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today. It is an honor.
See, and in my humble opinion, in the Progressive Songbook, they want to emphasize the worst of history to set you up for power plays and new conquests today.
Yes.
They're full of crap. You're not different than every human civilization that has conquered the other. You're falling into the same trap as you pull down hierarchy, as you set up new ones with you on top. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious. But that's what we've come to expect from our vice president. Do you think she's got a shot?
Nope.
You really? You're buying into the hype.
Sold. I think there's
I'm
4 states that we're probably definitely going to lose. But I agree with that.
But I'm an Auburn fan, and like I said to my grandfather during not the Georgia game, that was just a loss from the beginning. During the Oklahoma game, I said, what is this strange feeling? Is it hope? And I don't know. I'm a Nebraska fan. So I'm looking at this going, as an Auburn fan and also as a Buccaneers fan, the Bucs doing great this year. But
hold your breath.
Yeah, I've been a Buccaneers fan long enough to know, well, maybe we can rely on what my Uncle Dave and I used to call it buck ball.
Yeah.
Where it's not good.
Nope.
It's like, they got a holding penalty called on them. Yeah. Like, we're still in this thing.
Speaking of not good, I don't know if you saw Alabama this weekend.
Man, they squeaked that one out. Yeah, the Gamecocks almost took them down.
Oh, yeah.
So you're really buying into the hype. Your Auburn experience hasn't informed your political experience.
It's made me hold out as long as I've had before I've come forward and say it. I am very confident that Trump will win the election as of today. Now, if tomorrow he comes out and we find out some god awful things about the man, then that probably change. But I think he's got.
Well, I'm sure
team right
people
now.
are working on it.
Well, there's no doubt, because look at your Democrats are getting more and more desperate. But one thing, Billy Clinton came out and said that Lincoln Riley's death would not and should not have happened, and wouldn't have happened if immigrants were properly vetted.
Bill Clinton said that?
Just I think yesterday.
Wow. Well, he was the guy who promised us the era of big government's over.
He did say that. You're right.
And I mean, he lied about that.
Right.
Both the Republicans and the Democrats are like, yeah, Slick Willie, sliding another one by us.
Yep.
So just as a palate cleanser real quick, this happened at a Donald Trump speech in the last few days.
Okay. I took in billions, hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Never happened before. And don't let that baby bother you, because it doesn't bother me. To me, it's that beautiful. Where is that baby?
Where is that baby?
Where's that baby?
Folks are pointing. He's looking for the baby, folks. Where's that baby? For a baby crime, we get a USA chant.
That's a good-looking baby. Don't worry about it, Mom. It doesn't bother me. You know what it means? Happy, youthful, beautiful baby, perfect baby.
Man, that's almost wholesome.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, it's like, it's so much of the stuff is competitive and nasty. But it's, good to have some wholesome baby stuff.
Did you see I'm sure you did, the little tiff that J.D. Vance got into it with I think it was a CNN girl this weekend. She was basically, she was very much so in defense of the gangs there in Aurora, Colorado. Being able to do that, she's played it off, and she said, there was just a couple apartment complexes that were taken over, and he had to stop her and say, "Do you understand what you're saying? Listen to yourself. You're saying that it was okay in the United States of America that a couple of gangs from Venezuela took over the apartment complex. Do you understand what you're saying?"
It was just an isolated incident. That's amazing. Now, if I told you that I have a clip of Kamala Harris explaining astrology, would you believe me?
It's a word salad deal, so yeah, I could believe you on that.
Well, she's trying to make a point of how you got to, what's the phrase, the idiom, connect the dots.
Okay.
And this is on an interview with Roland Martin. Let's listen in.
There's this whole, I talked with somebody once who said, if you just look at where the stars are in the sky.
Yeah.
Don't look at them as just random things. If you just look at them as points, look at the constellation. What does it show you? So you just outlined it, Roland. What does it show you?
You ever been that hammered man when you're out with people and one of them starts talking that kind of gibberish and you're like, dude, you're bringing me down, Buzz Killington. Take that elsewhere.
No, we just smoked a big blunt in college. Right, we got some good tunes going. It's like, man, I can see this Hendrix solo, bro.
Dude.
Just connect the dots, man.
Reminds me of that Jon Stewart character in, with Dave Chappelle. And he's like, he'd ask him, you ever seen that? You ever seen that on weed?
Is that half-baked?
Half-baked, thank you. Hysterical.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and her team are ready to help you with, any and all of your pest control services. It could be a one-time job, could be an emergency, like there are ants in the kitchen.
Could be. Or, Joey, as the temperature's changing. Maybe those guys that live in the high life all summer are ready to come inside for your house for the winter.
Right, because it's warm in there.
Yep.
Yeah, you better be on top of it. And you might as well make Pest Pro your everyday pest control company because they know what Eddie just said.
Yeah.
You don't even have to remind them.
Nope.
They'll stop by, make sure your house is jam up and jelly tight, especially as these little critters try to find a warm place that you call your home. That number for Pest Pro, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that, just fantastic team. It makes me so happy when I see the trucks around town.
Yeah.
Be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
Well, that's all right. I'm John Scott. On the campaign trail, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are in Pennsylvania. Harris speaking at the northwest corner of Erie, and Trump's holding a town hall in the southeastern suburbs of Philadelphia. Both have been making regular appearances in what is the country's largest battleground state. Layoffs coming to Boeing. The giant aircraft maker will lay off about 10% of its workers. That's about 17,000 people. In the coming months, the company has been losing money for more than 5 years now. Many Native Americans across the U.S. will be coming together for Indigenous Peoples Day. While it is not a federal holiday, Indigenous Peoples Day is observed by 17 states. The Dow ahead 179 points, the NASDAQ up 157. This is SRN News.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good news. You can own gold through your 401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement account, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word faith to 989898 for an info kit from Birch Gold that's entirely free, zero cost or obligation. Text that next step right now and take it. Text faith to the number 989898 for your free info kit. That's faith to 989898.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. The first taste of Canadian air is in our future this week as a cold front swings through the state. On this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, high temperature up to about 84. Tonight, clear skies, rather cool, overnight low 52. Tomorrow's high up to about 74, a little breezy. But by Wednesday, I think the highs are only in the 60s. Sunshine dominates, but chilly at night. I think we'll tease 40 degrees for the morning low on Thursday around dawn. Dry through the week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Testimony is scheduled to start tomorrow in the capital murder trial of William Chase Johnson, who is charged with the murder of Lowndes County Sheriff Big John Williams. Johnson is accused of shooting and killing the sheriff at a Haynesville gas station in November 2019 after he was told to turn down his radio. A Millbrook man has been sentenced following a federal drug conviction. 44-year-old Derek White was sentenced to 165 months for possession of cocaine and marijuana with intent to distribute. White was arrested after a police pursuit through Wetumpka in March 2023 and pleaded guilty to the charges in July. A federal appeals court has revived a lawsuit in a long-running Native American dispute over the Wind Creek casino land in Wetumpka. The Muskogee Nation lawsuit alleges the Porch Creek Indians illegally excavated and desecrated the sacred remains of their Muskogee ancestors to make way for a casino and hotel. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and leave no troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey. That's Eddie right there.
Hey, buddy.
Buddy. And let's go to the phones and talk to Urbanite. Hey, Urbanite, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm kind of sad that you drunk the Kool-Aid when you were at Auburn.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. You're regurgitating this almost Chinese version of what do they call it? The revolution they had, where they purged all their history and changed how it was.
The Cultural Revolution?
Yeah, that Cultural Revolution crap. Well, here's the deal, man. You realize the Indians lost the war, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, the problem with recognizing them right now is that They're sitting on vast oil reserves, lithium reserves, and precious minerals like gold and silver.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, some other country may come knocking for some of those resources. And thank goodness, under present law, our Interior Department wouldn't grant them the ability to go into business dealings with another country. But we get the wrong people in the Interior Department and a really bad president at that point. And what happens at that point?
Well, the pseudo sovereigns become a little more sovereign. But how did you get the impression from what I said last hour that I like that folks bring up this is indigenous people?
I didn't get any impression. I just know you're regurgitating the current mantra, which is not inaccurate, but it's not exactly accurate. Think about it. Everybody gets all hoopty about the royal family in England. If you think a chief in an Indian culture was as bad as a king, then you're delusional. I guarantee you the squaws and the braves had nothing to say about when the king won or the chief won something.
Yeah, no, then my point is that human beings have been conquering and killing each other and winning and losing wars since we've been around.
And that's what you have to tell the young folks. People need to understand, the Indians didn't exactly get along with each other.
Nope.
It's just like they labeled their spots like everybody else labels their spot. They didn't actually have property lines per se, but I bet you knew what a guy's
rivers and creeks and things were just property lines.
What I think too over the weekend, I was thinking about it, like especially with it seems like impending war with Iran. Could we solve the Israeli-Palestinian crisis with casinos in Gaza? Casinos and weed.
Casinos and weed.
Close.
Or hashish.
Yeah,
that would be the new fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Islam finds casinos verboten. Can you
Yeah,
gamble
I
on
got a
it?
feeling they do, but
The Muslims don't drink and they don't eat pork.
Back to the drawing board then.
they say that. But occasionally I run into them in resorts and they gamble.
Oh, the ones with money. Hey, look, the ones with money have always been hypocrites, man.
Yeah. Just so we're clear. In fact, we went scuba
They used to
diving.
light up the nightclubs in Europe. When I was in Europe, that's
Right.
how you saw all the guys from Saudi Arabia and stuff.
When we were scuba diving, and the lady, she had to wear the full burqa. He literally had on a pair of like Speedos, but she was full burqa effect at 60 feet below. Like a
Dang, whoa, say that again.
When we went scuba diving, she still had to wear. She was covered head to toe. Only her eyes were the only thing. It looked like a mermaid. I'm telling
And
you.
she
look
was
over.
in a burqa?
Yeah, we were 60 feet.
It was like a scuba burqa?
No, it's like a jumpsuit, but it was all the flowing.
Oh,
the
wow.
burqa. Only thing you could see was her eyes.
All right.
Even her hands were covered.
Man.
And her husband over there looked like a bear that escaped from the zoo. He's so hairy and just.
Well, maybe that was the reason. He's like, I don't want people to know you're as hairy as me.
Ooh. But even on the beach, when they were on the beach, same thing. She laid there in the burqa all day.
Man, that sounds hot and not in
a good way. Yeah. Smelly.
Oh, man. And Americans, so the young Americans are so naive.
Yeah.
They know it academically that's how the rules are, that's what happens, but they have no idea what it would be like to live like that.
Right.
And to never have hope, and to never know your day's going to get any better. And, having children won't help you, especially if you have a son. That's just one more person to put his foot on your neck. And if you're a daughter, you got to work. You got the rest of your life. By the time you have your first woman's experience, you got to worry about getting married. I mean, it's like, who wants to live like that?
Right.
Have a good one, though.
Appreciate it, Urbanite.
Thanks, Urbanite.
272-9228. Let's go to Robert. Hey, Robert.
Hey, guys. I'm enjoying the show. And Joey, you had this phone is reverbing on me, but you had a good dissertation earlier, and I was just going to give a shout out to Eddie because he really helped me in the sense that he brought up that fact. JD was on there with a CNN reporter, and she kept pressing him and kept pressing him, and he just said, "Do you hear what you're saying? It's okay that a handful of apartment complexes have been taken over by illegal aliens that are members of gangs.
Well, I think
And I just wanted-
I've found the clip. It was ABC actually, and we can we'll share it
ABC.
here in a second.
You can. It wouldn't hurt my feelings to play it, but I wanted to give a shout out to Eddie and your show and your station for putting that out there. And then there's some other ones that I'd love to give you, but I just want to say I appreciate your show, and I tune in a lot of times. I'm not there all the time, but I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, and we did love mowing our grass. So listen to what I'm saying. See you.
See you, bro.
Later, Robert. 272-9228. Yeah, here's that clip. I've yet to see this, but since several people brought it up, let's play it.
Where Trump said the city had been invaded and conquered by Venezuelan gangs. The Republican mayor of the city said flatly the city and state have not been taken over or invaded or occupied by migrant gangs. So do you support Donald Trump making those claims that the Republican mayor says were grossly exaggerated and have hurt the city's identity and sense of safety? I understand what you're saying, that some people left behind, but he's making these statements that the mayor is flat out disputing.
Of course the mayor's disputing it. Good God.
Well, Martha, you just said the mayor said they were exaggerated.
Grossly
that
exaggerated.
Means that there's got to be some. That means there's got to be some element of truth here. And of course, President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha, is that people are terrified by what has happened with some of these Venezuelan gangs.
Senator Vance, I'm going to stop you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really, I know you still got to do the TV thing in this day and age.
Sure.
Because boomers still watch it.
Sure.
And they vote.
Yeah,
but man, I can't wait for corporate news to just die.
Yeah, but
go
days like
away.
that, I really enjoy that because she really thought I have got this guy where he can't say anything, and I'm in control of the interview. And then he expanded on the truth just a little bit, and kind of hard to argue back with that.
Kind of hard.
Yeah.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hello?
Hello, you're on there. Who's this?
Hi, this is Betty. I want to point out the fact that many ISIS have went over to Venezuela and come in as Venezuelans. So when you just knock off, hey, they're just Venezuelans taking over a hotel or two or whatever, it's more than that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's like the entire world. It's like a United Nations, except not, their elites, everybody else. And it's insane. The policy is absolutely crazy. I think, in my own personal opinion, we could have a very generous legal immigration process.
Sure.
But this abuse of the bramble patch of laws that we have around, it's just, they must not like the country very much. Let's not serve the people who live here who are actually citizens. Let's just bring in a whole new constituency.
Yeah. the whole financial burden of it. But thank you for listening.
Thank
you. Bye-bye.
No, the British did this. It's amazing. And people go, well, why don't you trust democracy? Because, okay, say the Labour Party in Britain goes from supporting working class Britons to now, without really changing their policy, to supporting immigrants.
Yep.
Just leave the folks that have been their constituency forever behind.
They left their bread and butter behind, the one that brought
They're
them to the
doing
dais.
it here.
Yep.
You think, oh, that's exaggerated. Chuck Schumer's literally out there in front of on the steps of the Capitol saying, yeah, we need a path to citizenship. Kamala Harris has said the same thing. Wait, so you get to abuse the rules of this system, invite millions of people from all over the world in, while there are also millions waiting in the legal process wanting to get in. Oh, well, they're here, so. You're worse than the gangs coming from Venezuela. You're worse than the gangs. You are a gang, except you wear white collars. And you have billions and trillions of dollars at your disposal. And propaganda arms like Martha Raddatz at ABC that somehow, by sending people through your stupid public schools and teaching them to trust the mediocre person in front of them in the classroom, they grow up, get a factory line job. Sorry, Eddie. But you know what I mean. And they start trusting the mediocre person on TV that tells them only the truth and nothing but the truth.
I think you'd be
It's nonsense.
You'd be very surprised by your average factory worker. Most of the ones I work with had an actual degree.
No, I think the everyday person is starting to wake up.
Finally.
Big time.
Finally.
Big time. And in a way that isn't like this one issue, that issue. That used to be the old way we do elections. Like, what are your top issues? And I think it's gotten beyond just, well, I care about immigration, or I care about
so much
abortion.
going on. You can't have
There's
one
some
top
folks
issue.
who still think that way, but I have a sense that this has gotten beyond just issues. This has gotten to, we do not like this culture that has been running this place for a long time. Because it's screwing us over while telling us they're doing us a service. It's absolutely insane. Hey, let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Hi, fellas. It's Donkey Lori.
Hey, Lori.
While I was on hold, I was like, preach, Joey, preach. Funny. I wonder how Martha would feel if it was only a handful of houses in her neighborhood that were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, because they seem to think out of sight, out of mind. It's not affecting them, so it doesn't matter that it's affecting someone, some family, some community somewhere. It only affects them when it gets flown into Martha's Vineyard, and then they have get their panties in a wad because now it's on their doorstep. But they want us, to take a spoonful of medicine, shut up and take your medicine, and don't say anything about it. But I wonder how Miss Martha would feel, if a couple of doors down for her, a Venezuela gang had booted the family out and moved in and killed the family dog and cooked it. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. On a lighter note, I just wanted you guys to know that if people were to go to the Facebook page of the Humane Society of Elmore County, the pet of the week is my foster pup.
Oh, cool.
Tanky Panky.
Hanky Panky?
No, his name is Tank. His brother's name was Hank, and Hank got adopted, but Tank is still waiting to be adopted. So you know how you come up with really cute names for him? I call him my Tanky Panky.
Tanky
or Tanky Stanky. My Tanky Panky. His name is Tank, and he's a black mouth cur mix. I've had him since he was 10 weeks old. He is goofy trapped in this pup's body. I mean, he's literally the real life Goofy walking around.
I've got it pulled up pictures of Tank here on the screen, folks, on the live stream. If you want to
cutie.
Go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube. He is adorable. Oh my goodness.
And he's been raised with. He actually submits to the Chihuahua. He submits to everyone. He bellies up for everybody. But, I have a lot of dogs of my own.
Yeah.
And our little 10-pound Chihuahua, Tank wants to play with him, and the little Chihuahua, and Tank drops and throws his legs in the air and bellies up. And he gets along with everyone, from the Chihuahua to the Bloodhound and everything in between. Children, it doesn't matter. Tank's all around. He's been raised in my home since he was 10 weeks old. So I'm going to tell you, he's a great pup. He's doggy door trained. He's crate trained. We're working on leash training. He would rather be leash drugged than leash walk right now. So, I mean, if you're looking for a good workout, you can take him for a good drag if you want to, but he's coming around with it. But he's just always got a smile on his face, and his ears are always doing really goofy things. So, but I'm very proud of Tank, and he's been waiting patiently. He's 6.5 months old, and he's ready for his forever family. Kids, any age, elderly people, it doesn't matter. Tank's all around an amazing good boy, and I would never lie about the issues with an animal. I set him up for success, not failure.
That's right.
Well,
So-
appreciate you calling that in, Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
Y'all have a great day,
You
guys.
too, hon.
Stay-
Man, that's adorable.
He's a cute dog.
Let's go to line one.
Right.
You're on there. Who's this?
Hey guys, it's Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Hey, that's funny that you said that we're being attacked from within, Joey, because that's what I was thinking about when you played that little snippet of Vance saying you're not upset with a few apartments being taken over. I'm thinking I wish you would have said, hell no, I'm concerned with all these stupid Democrats taking us all over, taking all our tax dollars and giving it to the freaking illegals. Oh my gosh, he kept us cool. He's very good and cool when it comes to the little attacks they do on him. I like that about him. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been inundated with all these texts from Kamala Harris. And they need money.
Yeah.
And I so want to say, call your freaking illegals and get their freaking money.
That's a good idea.
See, they don't send me those texts. I think they know at this point I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
I know. But, this is what scares me is, they threw Biden to the wayside when he was no longer any good for him, when he didn't become the good puppeteer that could win the show. But what the heck are they going to do to anybody that's a Republican that votes Republican? What are they going to do to us? They're going to attack us next
Oh, sure.
and throw us to the wayside. Somehow make your life miserable. I mean, it's just so pathetic. I hope God people are starting to wake up and see the handwriting on the wall.
Yep.
I hope so too.
But let's pray. What do we got? 22 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. God bless America and God bless us because Lord knows we need a divine intervention. You guys have a great one.
You too, Penny. God bless. Man, what's with all the ladies calling today? I didn't know
Women
which
don't even
women
listen to this
yeah,
show.
I didn't think they did. I mean, that's two dudes. Like in the potty mouth, like the rude, like even when we don't say bad words, you can sense it.
You can tell. Yep.
These guys are up to no good. Look at us. We're not on the right side of history.
Maybe. Not on the totally
Have
wrong
you ever
side.
woken up on the right side of the bed and realized I want to be on the wrong side of history?
I woke up and chose violence, yes.
Yeah, it started with your guidance counselor, right, in middle school.
I got
Like to
passed
be a
around.
good boy.
I got
you're-
passed around with the guidance counselor office quite a bit.
Mhm.
I don't know why.
Oh.
Don't know why.
I'm starting to suspect certain things. This part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And there at Clearwater's, Reed Waters and the team are ready to help you with tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding.
Yeah.
So whether it's a tree that's already fallen on your property, you do
Right.
not want to let that sit there and just rot.
No, you don't.
You're inviting all sorts of problems. Or it's a tree you're worried about that's really getting too tall. It's swaying the wind way too much when storms roll through. You just don't want it to fall on the house or the carport or the garage or your car itself. That would be.
Exactly.
Can you imagine waking up one morning and there's your truck just caved in? Big oak tree?
No, thank you.
Not fun at all.
Not a good way to start a day.
Or maybe you're just looking to trim back, overgrowth.
Right.
Could be a line of sight issues, could be the driveway's blocked, or maybe branches overhanging the house, slapping the siding when it gets windy. And of course, they also do stump grinding and get rid of that ugly stump just like that.
Yep.
So check them out today. Call Clearwater's Property Management at 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Robert. How y'all doing?
Hey, Robert.
Good,
How you
Robert.
doing,
How you
bud?
Hey, all right. Happy Columbus Day. We'll leave it at that.
Happy Columbus Day.
The young lady just got off the phone earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take these rose-colored glasses off. It's not Democrat or Republican. It's the rich Democrat and the rich Republican. What they gonna do to us? It's nothing goes on up there in Washington today. Both sides don't know what's going on. You have committees. Committees know they get information, they get details, they even get details on how the military is gonna move. There's a briefing to both sides. That's nothing strange. It's just how they gonna do us, both sides. Democrat and Republican, they up there getting richer and richer, and they don't care nothing about us.
Amen.
It's the uniparty.
Well said. It is the uniparty. It is the ruling elite.
Yeah, it's the ruling elite, and they got elite on both sides. Now, understand, there are some people in power that can make decisions that will harm one side of the equation. So you do have that. And them the small ones. Them the small ones that run around thinking that they're doing the right thing. The big ones that make the move, they doing what's going to put in their pocket.
That's right. And the name of the game is more money and more power.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Appreciate it, Robert. Great call. No, I think he's spot on
right
in that
on it,
regard.
Man. It's a uniparty. We go into that all the time.
Well, and we actually are sitting here with a Peter St. Onge clip.
Oh?
Yeah, and it's actually came out on Friday. We didn't get to it. How the government abandoned the people. So you want to hear this?
You know I do.
First, this part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Ooh, you're going to want to be calling these folks.
Why would you want to call them, Eddie?
Well, like I think coming up this week, we'll probably be going into the 50s at night, maybe even the 40s. Yeah, which sounds great, except when you wake up out of bed and you go to turn your heat on and it don't work.
Oh, damn.
Nah, that ain't good. That ain't good at all.
No, it's not.
Well, you'd want to call them up, get them to come out and check that system out before winter. And this is the time of year, honestly, we're running both of them. I know right now my AC's on.
Yeah.
So,
but in the morning, you want a little heat.
Yeah. So I know the system's getting worked pretty good on both sides of the day. So it's a good idea, again, to call them up, get them to come out and check out that system.
And can't they also do Generac generator installs?
And I had somebody call me today about Generac generator. I gave them their number. Sure enough, they said, hey, look, I guess basically what happened, his father lost a lot of stuff in the Florida hurricane. And the neighbors had a Generac generator. And he said, man, my dad told Jels, he said, I want to outdo my old man. I want to get one before I have that problem here. So they're going to be calling them up.
So y'all check out All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical today. They can really help you out. And think of things like a Generac generator, or if you need a new HVAC system, treat it like an investment. They have financing with approved credit, and it's a great way to up the value of your home, especially those generators. It really is an incredible product. And be sure to tell All Pro that Joey and Eddie sent you when you call them at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. Or you can always go to allproheatingair.com. Now, Peter St. Onge on how the government abandoned the people. Take it away, Peter.
The pathetic federal response to Hurricane Helene has showed us that not only is Washington dysfunctional, it's not even trying to serve the people. Instead, we serve it like livestock. So how did we get here? As with the economy, the seeds of our political crisis began 100 years ago in the Progressive era. The Progressives' big year for taking over the economy was 1913 with the Income Tax and Federal Reserve Act. But the political takeover was earlier. According to historian Murray Rothbard, it began precisely 30 years earlier with something called the Pendleton Act of 1883. The act made bureaucrats professionals who are independent of politicians. This was allegedly to fight corruption, but note that a bureaucracy that's independent of politicians is also independent of voters. After all, politicians are the only part of the government who answers to voters. So if bureaucrats don't answer to them, who do they answer to? And the answer is simple. They answer to nobody. The government bureaucracy becomes a self-serving, occupying army by design. Now, progressives do this because they've convinced themselves that government workers are omniscient angels. The act of collecting a government paycheck is a kind of purifying bath that washes away all the greed and malice of the unwashed masses over whom the government lords. Of course, after COVID, anybody who thinks bureaucrats are omniscient angels needs a lobotomy. Now, once installed with Pendleton, this independent bureaucracy was, of course, captured by the left, by socialists, because they both want the same thing, increased government control. This capture is why it feels like the world is grinding ever more socialist. The bureaucracy partners with socialists to a common end, which is government control over the people. They then use government money, your money, to propagate that takeover through academia, media, and corporations who are punished if they don't toe the line.
Yep.
Now, COVID showed us there's essentially no institution in the country, and really in the world, that has not been infiltrated by this toxic combination of government money and intimidation. The cartels call it plata o plomo, silver or lead, and the socialist deep state uses both. Now, over the last century, every crisis grew this deep state. World wars, Great Depression, even made-up crises like global warming and, of course, COVID. And COVID was their dream come true. It was total control. Problem, of course, is that once a wild animal tastes human blood, you can never trust it again. It's exactly what happened in a moment I think is very close to COVID, which is the wartime socialism of World War I. The men who pushed that war, men like Herbert Hoover, imposed Soviet-style economic and social controls during the war. Then once the war ended, they were very reluctant to hand that power back. In fact, they spent the rest of their careers trying to get it back. Unfortunately, the stock market crash of 1929 was the excuse they needed. They seized the commanding heights of the economy, the administrative state was born, and 100 years later, they still have it. So that all takes us to today, a totalitarian deep state that progressively seizes economic, social, and political power, enslaving us with debt, mandates, taxes, and surveillance. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The administrative state can be defeated, but not by fighting the Hydra head by head. Rather, you have to go to the source, the independent bureaucracy itself. To end the totalitarian deep state, politicians must have the ability to fire and hire every last person who works for the government, because the people must have that power, and until we abolish governments, politicians are their only voice. The only alternative is progressive enslavement by bureaucratic commissars until the people rise up and fix it kinetically. Read the rest with charts and all the gory details at profsanknowledge.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Yeah, he woke up on the right side of the bed that morning. He put that one out. Woo!
One. That is a good one.
272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, let's hit a break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. The first taste of Canadian air is in our future this week as a cold front swings through the state. On this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, high temperature up to about 84. Tonight, clear skies, rather cool, overnight low 52. Tomorrow's high up to about 74, a little breezy. But by Wednesday, I think the highs are only in the 60s. Sunshine dominates, but chilly at night. I think we'll tease 40 degrees for the morning low on Thursday around dawn. Dry through the week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get 0% financing up to 48 months with approved credit. Now on select Kubota track loaders and excavators. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACB.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go to line 1, talk to Sweet Pea. Hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I was sitting at my table drinking coffee, listening to y'all, and y'all got my attention on something. What was the name of that broadcast thingy that y'all are playing, where they were talking about the government?
Like the guy we just played, the commentary we just played?
Yes, sir.
Peter St. On.
Yeah.
Peter staying on?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the name of the thing that he was talking about?
Why the government has grown apart from the people, doesn't serve the people.
Yeah. But I was listening to something on YouTube News where over there in Sweden or Denmark or something like that, they don't have a problem with migrants. And when I looked further into it, and I was wondering why, they have armed troops at the border with a green light to shoot someone that's trying to, cross the border. I wonder why America doesn't do anything like that when we have, criminals and suspected terrorist leaders crossing the borders. I think they're up to something because they're going after Trump, and then not only that, but I heard where the government's giving illegals the right, giving them arms and giving them firearms. They're trying to take away our guns.
I haven't heard that last part, but I think you don't even have to shoot people. For instance, the Remain in Mexico policy, you got Mexico to put their own troops there and hold people back. It could be done. But they got rid of it with this current administration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see violence on any scale, but, someone has to stand up to this government. It's getting out of hand. I don't know what to do.
Well, I'd say keep your eyes open and follow the sort of champions and leaders that are rising up. It's happening.
Yeah.
Don't give in to the sort of more dark thoughts. I think that's kind of what folks running this government are counting on.
I'll tell you what, the government of Florida and J.D. Vance, man, it's like drinking a bottle of moonshine. I love it. I love how they do stuff.
Well, appreciate the call, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate. I like sitting at the table, drinking coffee, listening to y'all. So keep it up.
Good deal. Thank you, Sweet Pea.
272-9228. Must be some coffee.
Good coffee, man.
Yeah, good coffee goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
43 days from now, I'll be having
a coffee in Jamaica?
On the beach, real Jamaican coffee with my lovely wife.
So, in a bit, this is the big one. That was said by Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, talking to the nerd, Steve Kornacki.
Okay.
About the new NBC News poll that came out.
Oh.
This is the big one.
The big one. Okay.
Well, it's because Trump flips NBC News poll by +6 since last poll. Now leads Kamala in race. It's within the margin of error, but the trend is
definitely going that way.
Yeah.
That is no
CBS shows a slight lead nationally for Kamala. But we'll get to Kornacki breaking this down. Also have CNN saying that for the first time since 1984, more Americans identify as Republicans and Democrats.
Interesting.
Pretty nuts. Historically, the GOP wins when it's D+3. With independents leaning, the current margin is R+3.
Oh, boy.
So all the signs, even James Clyburn coming out on TV saying, yeah, I'm worried black men are going to vote for Trump. I'm worried about it.
Yep. Oh, he had a lot of things to say.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
powerful man.
Yes, and there's a lot of panic going on in that Democrat Party right now. There's no doubt. Makes me a little uneasy. What did you hear anything about the guy that was busted yesterday for having guns in the back of his car at the Trump rally for Saturday?
Oh yeah, no, and he's now come out and said he's a big Trump supporter. He didn't mean any harm.
I saw, so I didn't know if maybe you had some clarification.
No, that's a similar thing. Like I didn't follow this in detail. I think his name is something Vim Miller.
Yeah, yes.
I was invited to attend the rally. I love Trump. He released about an 18-minute video. He's a pro-Trump independent reporter. And he was actually at the RNC.
That's something.
But I mean, also with given everything going on, like why are you showing up at Coachella with firearms, man?
That I don't get.
No one. I mean, people are going to get as they should be.
Yes.
A little more sensitive about that, given all the issues we've had.
Well, to me, if he's who he says he is and all, it should have been a no-brainer. I know people forget, but you don't forget that. And I'm going to the Trump rally. It's just like me. I always have my Leatherman on me, but I know in some buildings I have to leave it behind. It's just kind of no-brainer.
Now, would you like to hear? Some people are calling it comedian J.D. Vance.
Oh, comedian J.D. Vance.
Comedian.
Oh,
I haven't heard this yet.
Federal government, there's a lot of...
Hold on just a second, man.
So it's like at one of these sit-down Q&A rallies, and it looks like somebody... Well, it sounded like somebody fell on one of the risers.
What it sounded like.
For the federal government, there's a lot of...
Wow! Man, that was a wow! So let's see what happens.
Hold on just a second, man. We okay? Kamala Harris built this platform behind us. That's what happened.
Oh.
We doing okay, ma'am? We good?
You can have my chair if you want.
It's a big woman.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so the seat broke.
Nobody else is
and you're wondering, like, what? Okay, this person who fell, what is the...
Nobody else's seat broke.
Like, just from the sound, how do you think how big she is?
For the federal government, there's a lot of...
like she's a ways from the ground.
Yeah,
too.
the platform was built badly. Sorry. Everybody else is sitting next to you. It's fine. A good fat person moment. Ain't that America, folks?
That happens.
Fat women falling through chairs. God bless America. 272.
We had women calling all day today. We probably won't get another woman to call now.
Oh, no, women love dragging on other women.
Yeah, but they don't like to hear men do it. I've learned this.
I'm just pointing out it's innately funny when a fat person, in particular a fat woman, falls through a chair. Especially because she didn't look hurt. If they're not hurt, it's even sometimes when they are hurt, it's funny. But it's not. You don't want anybody hurt.
What about the emotional damage she has suffered?
Oh, give me a break. 272-9228. Let's see if this is on line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Now, so y'all cause temptation. Nah. Talking bad about fat folks.
Hold on, let's hear it again.
The federal government, there's a lot of...
Sounds like quite a fall.
Man, yeah, well, I can't help it, y'all. She's that old big old turnip green puller right there, boy. I can tell the way she fell. You know what I'm saying? I can hear the sound.
Right.
Yeah. See, I told y'all gonna get me in trouble. See, y'all missing, man. Let me go. Shit, I'm sorry, y'all. Bye.
Hey, dude. I agree with you, Joe. It's funny when that happens.
Especially then.
For the federal government, there's a lot of...
Thought somebody had been exposed or something.
We okay?
It's a big one. Oh, but I'm glad to see you got all types there at the Trump rally.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's a good thing, actually. That's genuinely funny. I'm hurting. My stomach hurts. It's not even what J.D. Vance said.
No, and he handled it like a champ, I gotta say.
And let's hit a break. But first, this part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, well, Kim and Madeline are ready to help you out, whether you're looking to buy a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, or maybe you're looking to refinance. There are a lot of folks have been, what would you say, Eddie, on the fence?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of on the bubble.
Waiting for rates to go down. They're nervous about things that are going on in the nation today.
So if, with rates changing, with things changing rapidly nationwide, why not call up Alabama Home Mortgage and at least have a conversation with Kim and Madeline?
It's absolutely free, Joe. You can do that.
And the beautiful thing about them is if it's not the right time for you, they'll tell you. It's not like they're meeting a quota or something. No, they want their customers to get the best possible deal. In fact, they did that with me when a few years back, they're like, let's check your credit. Like, oh, you have no credit.
Yep, they gave you some tips on how to build
Kim helped me
credit,
out,
right?
and I'm doing all right now.
Just the greatest.
So whether you're looking to refinance or especially if you're a veteran, there are some special deals going on right now with the VA. So if you're a veteran and you want the details, call up Alabama Home Mortgage. They have veterans in their blood. They know the latest when it comes to the VA home loan programs, especially a new interest rate reduction thing coming around the corner. But you've got to be in a VA home loan right now. To get the details, again, call Kim and Madeline at Alabama Home Mortgage at 567-4223. That's 567-4223, or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
For the federal government, there's a lot of...
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Want to take the price of new flooring and tear it in half? You can during Prattville Carpet's biggest sale of the year, going on right now. Save 50% on select luxury vinyl plank and select carpets in stock. Stop into the store to register to win a brand new quartz countertop up to 75 feet until November 20th. No purchase necessary.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Shop now and save big at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh, we're doing good for a Monday. So, what's the score today, there, Cohen?
It's 21-3. Mm-hmm. We had a couple come in here, needed to replace the television, came in, bought a sound bar, bought the woofer, bought Michael Jacks, and we're going to hopefully be able to do it Wednesday afternoon. He's got a little procedure that he's got to have done, and then hopefully by the time he gets home, we'll be there and get his TV up for him.
Nice.
No, that's got me thinking, because I still have an old school wired system. Can you get an amazing surround sound, say, with a center, a woofer, and, say, 2 rear back speakers?
When you say center, you mean like a sound bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Sonos makes an excellent little system. You can go with their ARC, which is their big flagship Atmos unit. They make a sub that you can add to it, and then they make a couple of different options as far as the rear speakers can go. They have some that are self-powered. They also have an amplifier that could power a pair of real speakers. They could be bookshelf or in-wall or in-ceiling speakers. They could all talk to each other, and the sound would be great, and a very simple install.
So whether you're enjoying movies or enjoying the big football game, say on a Saturday, the immersive aspect of sound, folks, is huge. It makes it look even better, if that makes any sense.
Well, that's right, because half of high definition is great sound. You know, it gets to use both of your senses,
right?
Where you can see and you can hear. And to me, the sound, having great sound, is just as important, because when stuff starts happening in the middle of your room where there's nothing there, like a phone rings or somebody's knocking on a door, that's some pretty cool stuff that you wouldn't get with TV speakers or a little lackluster system.
There you go. So y'all check out thinkcohens.com if you want to shop from home, sort of window shop that way, but there's nothing like stopping by. In fact, I encourage you, make your first move stopping by the Boulevard there, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and say, hey, I heard you on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Fantastic. Y'all come see us. Have a great day.
Thank you, Michael.
Again, 272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation in this upcoming final hour, we'll get into the big one. This poll is the big one, not my words. That's the words of Kristen Welker.
Big
Meet
poll,
the Press. Huh? Yeah, this is a big one. And of course, Donald Trump over the weekend dropping what might be the quote of the year. Some are saying. I think this is just dark MAGA hype, honestly. But it's a pretty good line. Let's listen in.
Okay.
You see, that's the real threat to democracy, stupid people. That's the threat. Our biggest threat to democracy is stupid people.
pretty good.
Preach.
Reminds me of some like Indian guru.
Oh.
Yeah, had something to say about democracy. But
You see, that's the real threat to democracy, stupid people. That's the threat.
Right.
Our biggest threat to democracy is stupid people.
it does seem like the system thrives.
Yes.
Did you see that Mika Brzezinski, you probably didn't because you don't watch that crap, but Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe holds back tears as she admits Trump is likely to win?
No, I didn't see that, but that brought a little joy to my heart.
It's
They're
sad.
just the fakest of the fake, though. You know she's fake crying.
Yeah.
My dad was around. He'd say, "Girl, you better shut up or I'll give you something to cry about."
Now, by the way, as all this is going on domestically, Taiwan defiant as Chinese forces surround island in threatening military posture. It's the latest military exercises China's exercising.
Okay.
There are, say, folks there in the region, and Taiwanese defense officials in particular, calling it the Python method. That every year they do these exercises, it gets tighter and tighter.
I can see that, man. And at what point do you call them out for what it is?
Well, this is because everything can be seen. Like, you're not shocking or surprising anybody in terms of hiding troops.
Doing it in
so
public,
if you
right?
just do exercises every year, and exercises 1 year, that exercise is going to be the real deal.
Just don't end.
Right. So we'll get into that. There's so much going on in the world. Border Patrol Union gives Trump its unanimous endorsement.
Does that surprise you, though?
No, not at this point.
No, doesn't surprise me either. Makes me feel a lot better about their union, or about their staff anyway.
And we can also get into this in more detail, but ALDOT reveals legal advertisement newspaper errors led to higher bids delays in 4 projects. We reported on one with Erica Thomas last week on Thursday, but 4 more projects.
It'll keep happening. Why won't it? Unless you modernize the system.
Yeah, we need to get on it right now.
One website fixes every bit of that.
Falling way behind.
Ridiculous.
So we got plenty to discuss coming up in the final hour of the program here on a Monday. Did you see any of the commercials for the candidates watching football?
I saw another of that god-awful one of the men for Kamala thing.
Oh, my God. No, I
guess I caught like the second, maybe it was the second half, because I couldn't make it.
Like, I was thinking the Shamari Figures and Caroline Dobson ads.
No,
Both,
I have not. I haven't seen hardly
Maybe you're
anything
just not in the area.
I'm
in
not
County
at
Downs, so they're broadcasting them right to us.
Yeah, I was telling you off air, I haven't seen really anything from either one of them. I've seen a couple of car magnets, and that's it. But I am out of the district. But it seems to have gone a little bit quiet to me.
Well, maybe it'll get louder as we get closer to Election Day. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The devastation of Hurricanes Helene and Milton continues to be tallied as a swath of Florida comes to terms with damage from the unusual dual strike of storms in just 2 weeks. Crews continue to reconnect electricity in storm-stricken communities. Lines for gasoline seem considerably shorter as more stationed open this weekend. Gunfire broke out among a crowd near Tennessee State University's homecoming celebrations over the weekend. 1 person was killed, 9 others were injured. Members of the Kennedy family have gathered for the funeral of Ethel Kennedy, the wife of Senator Robert F. Kennedy. She died on Thursday at age 96. The Dow had 201 points, the NASDAQ adding 163. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Hi, everybody. The first taste of Canadian air is in our future this week as a cold front swings through the state. On this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, high temperature up to about 84. Tonight, clear skies, rather cool, overnight low 52. Tomorrow's high up to about 74, a little breezy. But by Wednesday, I think the highs are only in the 60s. Sunshine dominates, but chilly at night. I think we'll tease 40 degrees for the morning low on Thursday around dawn. Dry through the week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
A camp for abandoned or neglected children here in Alabama is now celebrating 50 years of ministry. Big Oak Ranch was founded by former Alabama football player John Croyle back in 1974. His son Brody Croyle is now the CEO of Big Oak Ranch, and he sat down with 1819 News, the podcast, about the mission going forward.
But if we can instill a value system in the next generation, guess what happens to the next? They might know about the past pain, but they didn't experience it. But guess what happens to the next generation? They don't even know about it. Mm-hmm. That's when generational change begins to happen. We're now seeing that fruit in full effect 50 years into this thing. But if I can tell you why are we growing in a dying industry, is because we have never wavered from what God called my parents to 50 years ago. And as long as I'm sitting in this seat, sitting here talking to you, we'll never waver from it.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A high school cross-country runner was seriously injured in Huntsville from a hit-and-run accident. 14-year-old Chandler Druin is a high school freshman who was training with his team when he was struck by a vehicle. Police have since tracked down and arrested 21-year-old Jared Severance. And Trinity Baptist Church in Birmingham held a service this past weekend to strengthen relationships with law enforcement and faith-based entities. It was all part of the National Faith and Blue Weekend. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are the 5 steps you'll have to take to buy a home in this market. First, it's so important to get pre-qualified through a local lender because to get an offer accepted, you will have to have a written pre-approval letter submitted with your offer. Second, it's critical that you identify the 3 most important must-haves with a house, including the location where you want to live. Third, always hire a professional buyer's agent that will represent your best interest and to be looking out for your interests, not the seller's interests, through the transaction, working on your behalf all the way to the closing. Fourth, hire the best home inspector you can find. Let him identify the issues with the home. Let your agent negotiate on your behalf for needed repairs. Fifth, close with a top-notch closing attorney's office that will examine the title, provide you with title insurance, and give you good title in the future. For a complete list of buyer agent services, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, that's Eddie. We need to figure out, turn your camera again. Like, I don't know, like You
might have bumped it with my computer.
Oh, your what?
My computer.
No, and we've got only 2 comments today on the stream.
Really?
Greg Powell asking, when did you get back on Facebook? Well, given we had Ebony Evans on, it's a local thing.
That was a really good idea, Joey.
But then Mark Cumby is asking, why is it so empty in here?
I've been on a diet. Taking up
Notice
less space.
that, too. We had nearly 2,000 people on the stream on Friday.
Really?
Yeah, I'll just say today we've got 80-something. I don't know what the difference is.
Do the CIA handlers have the day off or something?
Maybe. Or it just was in that, people aren't all that interested in the big one. You want to hear about the big one?
Oh, yeah, sure. I thought we were talking about
On our brand new NBC News poll, I am joined now by national political correspondent Steve Kornacki to take us through all of the numbers. Steve, boy, this is a big one.
You ready for the nerd?
He is, man. Come on.
I don't like, of all the people in corporate news, I like me some Steve Kornacki. He seems like, he's a nerd. He's a numbers
He is
guy.
a straight up nerd.
Straight shooter in that regard.
I'll give him that. Nerd.
What's your deal against nerds?
I love nerds. They're my favorite.
You don't act like you do.
I'm not afraid to call a nerd, but
oh, okay.
My favorite people are nerds.
Let's keep going here. The big one.
Yeah, Kristen, the numbers say it. It is a tie game here weeks before the election, and it's that shift. Our last poll taken in the wake of that September debate, Harris had opened up that advantage over Trump. Gone in our new poll. What goes into that? What's behind that? I think this one is revealing. This is the basic perception voters have of these candidates. Is it positive? Is it negative? Now, these are not.
Now, I'm going to back it up a little bit. The poll now says 48% to 48%. It was in September, Kamala 49, Trump 44. So, yeah, that's a 6-point swing.
Huge swing.
And what they went to were the negatives. Trump has a 43% positive rating, 51% negative rating. Harris has a 43% positive rating, 49% negative rating. So that doesn't make much of a difference for Harris.
Behind that, I think this one is revealing. This is the basic perception voters have of these candidates. Is it positive? Is it negative? Now, these are not great numbers for either one. Trump 43 positive, 51 negative. He's 8 points underwater, you might say. But look at Harris. Exact same positive score.
6 points
and that
underwater.
negative number almost in the exact same place. And this is it.
I love this nerd explaining basic arithmetic.
Just
Because
so
you
excited about it,
know
dude.
some of the boomers need it.
He's so excited about it. This is 8. This one's 6. I love me some nerds, but.
Well, somebody's like 30-year-old son's at home with him. Why couldn't you have been that smart?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Drinking all the time.
Last time we polled this question after that debate, Harris had really made up ground in this area. Look, she had a positive rating, 48 to 45. So that advantage has all in the last few weeks in our poll washed away for her. Then there's some issues, some characteristics here. These are advantages in red here that you see for Trump now versus September. On the immigration and the border, we ask voters, who would be better on this? In September, Trump had a big advantage. It's gotten bigger. On inflation and the cost of living, Trump's advantage now hits double digits. Now,
So his advantage in September was plus 21 on the immigration and border. It's now plus 25. In September, his advantage on inflation, cost of living was plus 8. It's now plus 11. And they're about to get to it. The question of representing change.
Now, on the question of who represents change, Harris had the advantage in September. She still does, but lower.
So significant because voters are telling us change is a critical issue for them, not the direction you want to be going in there, Steve.
No, absolutely not. And maybe a reason for that, too, is remember, she's the VP in an unpopular administration. Look, we asked Joe Biden's policies as president. Do you think they're helping or hurting your family? Look at that. Almost 2 to 1 say hurting more than helping. His
25% helping, 45% hurting.
I'm telling you, it's in September, right? When did she start talking? And that's what I
No,
kept
she's
waiting
been
for.
talking. That's the problem. She goes on Stern. She goes on Colbert. She goes on Call Her Daddy.
Messaging, and that's what her messaging is falling upon people going, not only I'm not going to vote for her, I'm embarrassed she's our vice president at this point.
Romex Engler comments, everyone is already waiting at Eddie's house for the Columbus Day party this afternoon, so maybe that's why it's kind of quiet today.
Oh, that'd be great.
Is it is it a state holiday? People have the day off?
I think it is. I don't know how normal people are. I'm a realtor. I don't get days off.
I mean, I'm a talk radio host, so kind of every day is a day off. But let's keep going.
Job approval rating is in the low 40s. And then here's the twist. When you ask folks, when Trump was president, were his policies helping or hurting? Look at that difference. 44% say helping, 31% say they hurt. So retrospectively, Trump is getting some numbers here. Maybe he didn't even get when he was president. And then this is in perspective, the challenge that Harris faces. These are the modern vice presidents like Harris, incumbent vice presidents running while their boss was still in office. And just look, 88, George Bush Sr., his boss Reagan had nearly a 60% approval rating. Bush won. 2000, Clinton was at 60%. Gore didn't win, but he won the popular vote. We can say that. And here's Harris. And just look how different the atmosphere is. Biden's approval rating in our poll, only 43 points. She's running in a totally different atmosphere than previous incumbent vice presidents did. And then we could talk about issues. This is an interesting way. Typically in the past, we've just given folks a list of issues, said, are they important? Here we've asked a question, is this issue so singularly important that it's the entire basis of your vote for president? And you could see abortion comes in number one there.
So single issue voters, if you're going to be a single issue voter, 22% say abortion is a single issue for me that sways me on this. 19% say immigration border is, 18% say protecting democracy, 16% say cost of living. All these are what would be the single issue.
Thought that would be a little bit higher.
That sways you. No, and this is why folks bring up January 6th and why they bring up the whole Roe v. Wade thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they actually, put a cherry on top of this thing. I think it's sound logic.
And that's so significant. This is the first presidential election after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Hugely significant. Abortion is at the top. Usually we're talking about the cost of living as being the energizing factor.
Absolutely. And I think the Harris folks, if they're looking for good news in this poll, it's this, because this issue is her biggest advantage over Donald Trump. And you could see, as you say, potentially a motivating factor. And one more note here, just got to show this. The gender gap. We always talk about gender gaps in presidential races, but how about this? Trump by 16 among men, Harris 14 among women. That is a 30-point difference between those two. If that happens on Election Day, that's one for the history books. We've never seen it that high.
Yeah.
Wow, 30-point gap with men and women. That's unreal.
I still have an issue with the economy being at the bottom. Bush Sr. lost. It was the economy stupid thing.
Well, I wonder how many of the folks who are 22% abortion single issue are women.
I would say
some of that's going to be
high.
the pro-life element
Yeah.
that says he's gotten too soft on it, too moderate.
I didn't even think about them.
But I think that's mostly going to be women in that, 22%.
I agree.
Fascinating. Let's go to line one, talk to East of the Rockies. Hey, East.
Hey, Joey, listen, with respect, I wanted to ask your partner what he thought about the activity in North Korea this past weekend. I know he had been associated with a Korean manufacturer at one time. And, I mean, and my question to both of you is this. Would an attack by either China on Taiwan or North Korea on Seoul be an October surprise that they would use to urge people not to change horses in midstream?
Yeah, as far as the blowing up the cross-border stuff, my understanding has always been that they kind of do that kind of thing on the regular. They get ticked off.
Yeah,
you're dealing with somebody that's never been told no to. So,
a tantrum.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I think if crisis breaks out, whether it's the Korean Peninsula or maybe it's the Middle East or things get worse in Ukraine, that actually goes into Trump's favor.
I agree.
Yes.
And I think, honestly, I think most
that's
leaders.
what I was thinking, too.
I think most global leaders would rather have Trump in there. I think all of their lives are just a little bit easier when they have Trump in office. It just makes a little bit more sense for the United States to be more stable than it is now.
Right. Hey, man, this is a really good show. I'm enjoying it. You guys have a great week.
Thank you, bud.
Appreciate it. East of the Rockies. I would say he's a legacy.
Oh, yeah. I love East. Great
guy. He's been here on these airwaves longer than I've been.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy. Really is. 272-9228. If you want to try to follow that call. Now let's move over to CNN. Talking about voter identification.
Oh.
And I wonder how many folks have become Republican, but really they're dark MAGA.
Ooh.
Let's listen in.
Good point.
All right, so party ID nationally. You go to October, November of 2016, Democrats had a 3-point advantage. You go 4 years ago.
You think this guy's celebrating Columbus Day? What do you think, Eddie? Is he celebrating Columbus Day?
Yeah, but I think he's going to get his heart broken in a couple of years.
Let's actually hear. This guy is Harry Enton, and through this whole cycle, he's been, again, another nerd doing a pretty good job with the numbers.
He's excited.
All right, so party ID nationally. You go to October, November of 2016, Democrats had a 3-point advantage. You go 4 years ago, Democrats had a 6-point advantage. Look at where we are today, Manu. Republicans with a 1-point advantage. A very different picture, very much mirroring what we see in the party registration numbers in those key battleground states, and Pennsylvania in particular.
It actually just shows you, too, why Harris is doing what she's trying to do. She's trying to moderate a little bit on these issues, trying to reach those very voters, because the party registration is changing and the demographics of the voters are changing. And those are the people she needs to attract.
Absolutely. And you know, the GOP leads by a point in party identification right now. The average when the Republican Party loses is the Democrats ahead by 8. When the Republican Party wins, the average party ID advantage for Democrats is 3. Republicans right now, Manu, are doing even better than the average when they win. If there's one little nugget that I think Republicans are really hopeful for, it's this party ID and this party registration data. It really points in a good direction for them and for Donald Trump.
Wow.
Part of New York you think he's from?
Now I'm sitting here wondering, it's like, much like Columbus, people thought he was Italian, but he could be Jewish. Like, seriously, to drop that on Columbus Day. We've done a study of some remains that we think might have been Columbus's, and he's a Sephardic
Just throw a little bit of shade there?
No, it's not even shade. I think at this point it's become like one of these academic controversies where everybody wants to claim him or really get to the bottom of this thing.
But didn't his bones, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't his bones kind of go all over the place? They didn't bury him. So he could theoretically be buried in one place, but also somebody else claimed that they have him buried there because they have some of the bones.
That's true. That's true.
I just wonder.
Did you ever see that? What was that thing that Tim Kennedy did, like Hunting Hitler or something like that?
I remember that, but I didn't see it.
Where they got to test the Soviet skeleton, where they claimed were Hitler's remains, and they're like, no, it was a woman.
That surprised me.
You do have to wonder how much of the stuff in museums is real.
I learned my lesson with Al Capone's faults.
Oh, Geraldo doing that?
He taught me my lesson. I know, I'm so disappointed.
Were you?
Dude, I expected there's going to be bodies. There's going to be something.
Right.
Not just
and there's
one empty
nothing?
old beer bottle.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
Nothing. Wow.
And he made it a big thing. Like, it was a huge event.
3 weeks in advance, yeah.
Yeah.
They knew then, I think.
Yeah, before you promote the thing, you should probably know what the reveal's going to be.
I was hoping for some TV magic or something at the end. Something.
Right. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
This is Dirty Water.
Hey, Dirty Water.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Hey, love you guys. Eddie, Joey, love the show. Love the show.
Appreciate it.
And I'll play devil's advocate for a minute, if I may. You know, this abortion issue, to me, that should be left up to the states, without a doubt. You know, it's a state issue.
I agree. I don't understand why that's such a broken program. I thought that's the way it should be.
Well, to me, abortion is an excuse. It's an out for lazy breeders. You know what I mean? If you can't use a condom or an IUD or something, and you're just that lazy, there's something wrong with you. You know? And after 2 abortions, you should be sterilized.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all right. Here's my devil's advocate part. If there was no abortion, look at all the dysfunctional children would be running around, born addicted to drugs, mental problems, alcohol poisoning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think the mentality that leads people to, I think, get a lot of abortions is the same underlying mentality that leads to a lot of social dysfunction. I always love to believe that a kid actually has some hope. And maybe I'm just being naive here, but I think more people's a good thing. And to write off, well, that's a bad situation. Who could that kid be? Well, he could be the next Elon Musk.
Right.
Well, yeah, I know. The next kid might be Jesus. You never know. And it wasn't Margaret Sanger with the eugenics. You know, the eugenics.
It wasn't just Margaret. It was pretty much the entire American elite in the early 1900s.
Yeah,
we're all about it.
But in the short run, I'd rather it be a states' right issue and not a national thing. We got more stuff to worry about than abortion, for real.
I agree.
All right, love you guys.
Appreciate it,
Thank you, Dirty Water.
Dan, I'm also, I think, fairly consistent that I want more issues to be that way. It's not just abortion.
Right.
It's like most things, a lot of things the federal government currently does should be that way.
Oh,
In fact,
no
it could
doubt,
probably make us more anti-fragile.
Toughen us up just a little bit.
Because look at the performance of local and state health departments during COVID. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
And it's because they're essentially pass-throughs for the national organization.
They did nothing to keep a gate or do anything. No gatekeepers at all. It was whatever they say, that's what we're going to do, and by God, we're going to do it.
And especially with something like an epidemic, like the Japanese did this, where they had a lot of local offices, so they're also, that part of the world, a little more sensitive to these things, but contact tracing, when it's literally your neighbor and not the feds coming in, it's just, and that's just one example. I think there are so many things where if you had state-level departments that were really stellar, I think it would create a lot more, a more robust system. You know, take your pick of what system we might be talking about. Even things like emergency response, like FEMA. I don't understand, why can't our emergency response be something more like a nonprofit driven by the states and people?
I think about it all the time. I don't understand why it can't be privatized. You'd be so much better prepared if it were privatized. At the end of the day, the government pays for it anyway. Get them out of the way. They do nothing well except screw up. That's all our government does.
Now, of course, in the middle of all these hurricanes, it brought out some of the climate activists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a guy named Matt Yglesias. Or Yglesias, excuse me.
We'll go with
Yglesias.
I like it.
It's Yglesias.
You sure?
Yeah. And I can be your hero, baby. He's trying to speak at some event.
Okay.
And he's generally a pretty liberal guy. This one group, Climate Defiance, says, we shut down the luncheon honoring fracking enthusiast Matt Yglesias. The third-rate thought leader, this Harvard halfwit, is ready and willing to incinerate his own children in the name of being proactive. So we're dealing with some reasonable folks here. Let's listen into the encounter.
All right, Matt Iglesias, we're here to call you on your stance on fracking. Frack, dangerous fossil fuel funded lie. The fracking of methane is the future for our world. How do you prove sandwiched between two of the worst hurricanes? As Milton is on the doorstep, we cannot afford this. So what do you say?
Meets the country's national security needs, its economic needs.
How do you meet economic needs when we have disasters that cost tens of billions of dollars?
And they're holding up a big banner that says, stop playing with our future. Hey, right back at you. Dope.
You know, I watched this show one time and they were bringing out future weapons for cops to use. And one of them was a glue gun.
Yeah.
And it just sprayed glue on you like spray foam.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of immobilized you. At times like this, I wish they had a glue gun. I don't want the man to permanently be stopped, but I would love for him to be filled up with glue. Just surrounded with a big pile of glue. And then the show can go on, and he just sits there. He's in no harm for no one.
Actually, it's not the worst idea in the world.
It didn't hurt anybody.
Why not make it webbing like a spider?
They got that too. It's got these weights on the side, like if you try to run. Spider-Man's got nothing on this gun. It shoots that web at you, and you're going down, dude. Going down.
Man, that's probably a hard way to go down.
It is a hard way.
Because it's just completely, you have no way to catch yourself.
Nope. You in the pavement, baby.
Ooh. So that encounter reminded me of one of my favorite clips on the climate change thing. There's more, I would say, long conversation, sort of thoughtful analysis. Bjorn Lomborg in particular, I think is fantastic. But this one clip always comes to mind with like how forceful it is, because it's from a few years back where Jordan Peterson is at Cambridge. And it's the sort of thing where you give a little speech, a little talk, and then the student body is allowed to ask you questions.
Oh, okay.
Very, very British. But it's also, listen to the question asked by the young lady or man, who knows these days. And let's listen to Dr. Jordan Peterson's response.
Drought, flooding, and ocean acidification, unanticipated for 65 million years, all result from climate change, according to over 700 of your fellow scientists. So I was wondering whether you thought climate change could be an issue that could unite us all on left and right, moving us beyond debates about C16 to discussions at the UN at Katowice next month, where perhaps humanity might finally discover its global map of meaning.
No.
Good answer.
There's more, but that's just perfect.
By the
No.
way, was that bad camera or was there smoking allowed in there? That was like the thickest
I think
smoky
it's just a
room I've
bad
ever seen.
camera.
Jeez. Oh, I love it. Nope.
I mean, there's a couple of reasons. I mean, the first reason is that I spent a lot of time reading. I worked for a UN committee for 2 years on sustainable economic and ecological development, and read a very large amount during that period of time and learned a lot, much of which made me much more optimistic than I had been before I read the relevant literature, which was a real shock to me. But the climate change issue is an absolutely catastrophic, nightmarish mess, and the idea that that will unite us that's not going to unite us. I mean, first of all, it's very difficult to separate the science from the politics, and second, even if the more radical claims are true, we have no idea what to do about it, and so no. And besides, it's even worse than that. Here's one of the worst things about the whole mess is, so as you project outwards with regards to your climate change projections, which are quite unreliable to begin with, and the unreliability of the measurement magnifies as you move forward in time, obviously, because the errors accumulate. And so if you go out 50 years, the error bars around the projections are already so wide that we won't be able to measure the positive or negative effects of anything we do right now. So how in the world are you going to solve a problem when you can't even measure the consequence of your actions? Like, how is that even possible? And besides that, well, what's the solution? What are we going to do? Switch to wind and solar? Well, good luck with that. Just try it and see what happens. We can't store the power. Germany tried it. They produced more carbon dioxide than they did when they started because they had to turn on their coal-fired plants again. That wasn't a very good plan. Well, we don't want nuclear. It's like, okay, what happens at night? The sun goes down. Well, isn't that something we should have taken into account? Well, we got to flip on the coal-fired plants. Well, so it was a complete catastrophe, and all that happened was the price of electricity shot up. There's like zero utility. So that's not a solution. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we should cut back. We can't consume as much as we are all consuming. It's like, well, maybe, except the data that I've read indicate that if you can get the GDP of people up to about $5,000 a year, then they start caring about the environment, and the environment cleans up. So you could make a perfectly strong case, I think, and a reasonable one, perhaps even a humane one, that the actual idea would be to get everybody in the world who's poor, desperately so, out of poverty as fast as possible, which would increase consumption in the short term, because then they'd start to care about the environment and things would clean up. It's like, okay, well, what are we going to do about global warming? Well, good luck figuring that out. I don't see a solution on the horizon. I look at Bjorn Lomborg's work. I really like Bjorn Lomborg. I think he's a real genius. You can look him up if you want. He took the UN millennial goals. There's 200 of them. That's way too many goals if you're serious about goals, by the way, because 200 goals isn't a plan. It's a wish list. You have to prioritize. I'm serious. You have to prioritize. but they won't prioritize because each of the goals has its constituents, and if you prioritize, then you irritate the constituents, but if you don't prioritize, then you can't implement the plan. So what Lomborg did was gather a teams of economists, multiple teams, some of whom were Nobel Prize-winning economists. He had them assemble teams. He had them rank order development goals in terms of their return on investment, all of the teams. Then he averaged across the teams and came up with a final list. And addressing global warming wasn't even on the list. The most fundamental, he wrote a book called How to Spend $75 Billion to Make the World a Better Place, and that's not very much money on a global scale. Almost everything that he recommended had to do with increased child nutrition in developing countries. It's like, these things are complicated, man. These are complicated. It's like, well, let's fix global warming. It's like, okay, well, good luck with that. First of all, how are you going to do that? And to think that will unite us, well, certainly not uniting us so far. So, no. And it's the kind of low-resolution thinking that just gets us absolutely nowhere. I like what Lomborg did way better. I think it's way more intelligent. So, maybe if you increase child nutrition enough and you produce another, 10 million geniuses as a consequence of that, and maybe one of them will figure out what to do about global warming. Well, I'm serious about that, It's not a bad thing to increase the total sum of human brain power, And so we treat these things so lightly. Well, let's fix the planet. Well, we're going to concentrate on global warming. Well, why global warming? Well, because everyone thinks that's the biggest catastrophe. Well, maybe it is, but if you don't have a solution, well, and then what about all those other problems? What are you going to do about them? Well, we'll ignore them because we can feel good about, being concerned about global warming. It's like, one of the reasons there's more trees in the Northern Hemisphere than there were 100 years ago. No one knows that, but it's true, and by a substantial margin. You know why, in part? Because people burned coal instead of wood. It's like everyone says, well, we shouldn't burn coal. It's like, okay, fair enough. What do you want to do? Burn trees instead? Because that's what poor people would have done. It's like, coal isn't good. Well, it's better than burning wood. So these things are complicated. So they're unbelievably complicated. And so, no, it's not going to unite us. And we're not going to do a damn thing about it either. So it doesn't really matter. So, well, what are we going to do? Right. You're going to stop having heat? You're going to stop having electricity? You're going to stop driving your cars? You're going to stop taking trains? It's like, you're going to stop using your iPhones? You're not going to do any of that. And no wonder. So no.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. No, and it gets to the heart, I think, not just the problem with the whole climate change conversation, and especially the political solution side of it. It's so many of the issues. There's not a clear plan. It is a wish list of different constituencies, and there are trade-offs in life, like that protest we began with. We've gone away from coal to natural gas. Yep. In fact, emissions fell in the United States, I think, faster than what was called for in the Paris Climate Accords because of the shift to natural gas. But now that has to be protest. You're destroying our future. How about, say, with nuclear technology, how it has become miniaturized? Why does it take so long to build a nuclear plant? And a lot of that has to do with the Federal Regulatory Board. It's one of those ones, Vivek Ramaswamy's like, let's just get rid of it. It's like, you can literally power nuclear submarines and small cities called aircraft carriers. Yep. But you can't bring that to the civilian population because Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, and now everybody's scared.
Well, give me a break. We can always sink those boats, and that won't be a problem, right? If there's a problem, it's a problem, whether it's in the city or on a boat somewhere.
Right. And then you listen to, say, somebody like Elon Musk, where it's, no, you need fossil fuels in order to build technologies of the future. The sweet spot is going to be, how can you store the stuff up? Because you need flex capacity at high demand time. So it should be about improving human beings' lives. And often there are reasonable people that are worried about climate change, but the hysterical ones that are interrupting things or destroying paintings at the Louvre or something.
That's so stupid. Oh, that bothers me.
These folks are the same doomsayers that have always existed in human society. And I'm not exactly an optimist. I'm becoming more and more of an optimist the more I've become dark MAGA.
I thought
the transformation is happening slowly but surely.
I thought it was since you become more of Uncle Joey.
Oh, that's helped too. seriously, all this like, oh, is this the end times? I'm like, no. And I see my niece Lucy, 1-year-old birthday party, all these young families coming over, all these kids playing. I'm like, this is not the end.
Right.
Not by a long shot. Yeah, it could be. Like, let's just let the nukes start flying in the Middle East and see how quickly it
But
goes
it's hard
down,
to say, yes, it all ends today when
right.
you're part
Come
of
on.
something like that.
Right. So anyway, this part of the program
Mhm.
brought to you by River Region Contracting.
Oh, good folks, Joey.
You've worked with them a few times
I
now.
sure have, man. They've helped me out with some roofing issues that I had. Did an inspection for me I was very curious about, and they got up on the roof because I wasn't about to. And actually, it helped out some of my friends with their insurance claim. When we had some storms about a year or two ago come through Lake Jordan, sure enough, they called them up and they came out and helped over the insurance claim. They're great people.
They really are. So whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, they can help you out. They can do an inspection. And you should get inspected on a regular basis. Like, do it every year.
I'd say do it every year.
And you know what? Their inspections are always free.
Right.
So they can come out, inspect it. No, you're fine, Eddie. Thank guys.
That's good to feel, though, to know I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Good to go.
If you do have a problem, they'll write up an estimate for you for free. And those estimates are accurate.
Yes,
they show up on time. They do the job well, and they like to educate their customers. They don't just say, hey, go away, kid, you're bothering me.
Right.
They actually say, here's the problem. Here's how we're going to fix it.
Yep.
And, of course, they're also insurance specialists at River Region Contracting. So if they do find a problem with your roof, your insurance might cover. They can walk you through that claims process, make it a swift and easy experience. So check them out today. You can always call Todd Clark and the team at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell those great folks there at River Region Contracting that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m. Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Fall is officially here, and it's time to get your system ready for the winter. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125 or go to clarkcomfort.com. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. The first taste of Canadian air is in our future this week as a cold front swings through the state. On this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, high temperature up to about 84. Tonight, clear skies, rather cool, overnight low 52. Tomorrow's high up to about 74, a little breezy. But by Wednesday, I think the highs are only in the 60s. Sunshine dominates, but chilly at night. I think we'll tease 40 degrees for the morning low on Thursday around dawn. Dry through the week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Accurate, immediate, carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back, folks. I'm Joey. This is Eddie over here.
Hey, buddy.
And the Romex Angler saying, I think he's talking to you, maybe we'll bump into each other in Jamaica this weekend.
I ain't going this weekend, but I'm going in 2 weeks.
I just got out my plane out of the shop, and so I was thinking of flying down for a few days.
You should. It's 2.5 hours from from Atlanta. You should. But be careful. Jimmy Buffett did that, and they tried to shoot his plane out of the sky one time.
Really?
Yeah. And wrote a whole song about it.
I was about to ask you, write a song about
wrote
it?
a song about it. Jamaica Mistaka.
What?
Jamaica Mistaka. It's about, and he did it. I remember reading in the paper. Him and a friend were going to Jamaica for some jerk chicken. You know, when you got a plane, you can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the Jamaican army saw him and thought he was a weed runner. They just started blasting his plane. Fill it full of holes, man. He landed and all was well. And a couple of years later, all of a sudden the Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville started popping up all over Jamaica.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting how that works out. Maybe it was an inside job.
Maybe.
But tensions rise between Harris and Biden teams as election nears. So there's been a lot of rumors around Twitter about this. This is now Alex Thompson at Axios, which is kind of your more cutting edge, I would call it establishment brag.
Yes.
The reporting's well done. The writing's well done. It's sort of the classic, give it to me in a few words. Just give it to me quick on one page. But they write, the relationship between Kamala Harris's team and Joe Biden's White House has been increasingly fraught in the final weeks before Election Day. 10 people familiar with the situation tell Axios. So they got 10 sources, insiders, informants. Why it matters. Biden's team wants Harris to win the election, but many senior Biden aides remain wounded by the president being pushed out of his re-election bid and are still adjusting to being in a supporting role on the campaign trail. They're too much in their feelings, one close Harris ally said of the president's team. Like, really? This is how we're talking about folks at the highest level? They're too much in their feelings?
You have seen, obviously, the tension. There's tension there, man.
Clearly.
And then the other day, there was an article written about where she had called and told her to hold on a minute.
Some on the Harris team say that top White House aides aren't sufficiently coordinating Biden's messaging and schedule to align with what's best for the vice president's campaign. Biden gave an impromptu press conference in the White House briefing room Friday just as Harris was about to do an event in Michigan, ensuring that her event will get less TV coverage than it otherwise would. I think these are all just mistakes. Earlier in the week, Harris criticized Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for not taking her call about the recent hurricanes, only for Biden to praise DeSantis soon after for being gracious and cooperative. A person familiar with the situation told Axios that Biden hadn't been briefed in Harris's comments. Are we sure? Or did he do it on purpose?
I think on purpose.
Why am I starting to talk like Kamala? Biden has been eager to boast about a robust jobs report helping to end the strike by the Longshoremen's Union Now they at least know who the longshoremen
They know
are.
who they are, Joey.
And other perceived victories recently, Harris has been trying to focus on voters' pocketbook concerns, including inflation. One person involved with Harris's campaign told Axios, quote, "The White House is lacking someone in the room thinking first and foremost about how things would affect the campaign." But apparently these tensions have played out on the staff level too, Eddie.
Oh.
Harris's team has been trying to add staff to the vice presidential official office to handle the bigger workload. It's been frustrated at the White House's pace in getting people detailed for that, according to two people familiar with the matter. The White House has been working to help Harris's team, but has been frustrated by some of the rules about who can be detailed and when. I think it's much worse than this report. Like, this seems... Anyway, several Biden aides have joined Harris's campaign, but some feel like they've been labeled as disloyal by Biden's team for leaving or even considering it. Wow. A White House official told Axios, "Everyone from the president on down knows how important the election is, and we always anticipated a number of staff would want to transition from the administration to the campaign for the final stretch." On Harris's campaign, there's also awkwardness between some who were on Biden's original campaign staff and the Harris allies who've been installed in recent weeks. In the weeks after Harris became the Democratic nominee, there were squabbles about whether Biden's main surrogates on television would continue in those roles or if new faces would emerge. Man, this is petty crap.
It is.
Harris's team prevailed and new surrogates began appearing frequently. Some on Harris's team are wary of the Biden campaign crew they're now working with. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates told Axios President Biden endorsed Vice President Harris immediately after leaving the race, rejecting other approaches that would divide the party, and has attested to her leadership abilities and continually made clear his support for her. Yeah, but didn't he do that like on a weekend over just like a letter posted on Twitter? He didn't actually come out and say it
I
himself.
thought that's what happened.
Wow. Well, I guess this is what you get when you get a whole group of people who grew up and fell in love with politics because they watched The West Wing too much. And by God, that sort of liberalism is far gone. You remember the rom-com, The American President?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where this line comes from.
You want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours.
And now you have liberalism as put out there by Tim Walz during the pandemic.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
That makes my blood boil when I hear that, especially hearing it from another American.
Right. I mean, I'll take the Sorkin liberals that were more idealistic in the 90s and early aughts. I'll bring them back. But I think things have changed profoundly.
Yes.
Since those days. And it's amazing how things that you thought were, deeply held principles. I guess, growing up means jettisoning your principles. Or in politics, what is it?
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
Indeed.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is Zach with Dry County Pond over here in Prattville, Alabama. We've been advertising on Blue Water Broadcasting here for a little while, and the results we've been getting are outstanding. If you're looking to do any advertisement, I would highly recommend Blue Water Broadcasting.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hey, this is Ashley, the owner of Pest Pro Services. Tired of those pesky mosquitoes ruining your outdoor fun? Say goodbye to bites and hello to comfort. Our expert mosquito treatments protect your home and your yard, letting you enjoy every moment. Our treatments are effective, safe, pet, and family friendly. Let us help take back your yard. Call us now to book your appointment at 265-9990 or visit us on the web at ppsriverregion.com. Pest Pro Services. When you want to know, call a pro.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Well, it was a pretty good Monday show, at least so far. We got about 8 shopping minutes left. Greg Beadle coming up after the top of the hour break. Dems fear Harris losing ground with male voters. And yeah, all these like Harris, Men for Harris ads are not working out very well, in my humble opinion. I think people find them off-putting. Like, oh, so you think this is what men want? I think it's a little absurd at this point. But let me see if I can find one of these real quick. I'm a man. Men for hair. Yeah, here's this ad. I gotta see this again because I don't know how convincing this is, Eddie. Well, let's do this.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man,
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast. I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president? Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
It's just so much there. From the fat guy that eats carburetors for breakfast, that could be part of your
Right,
problem there,
right.
Tubbs.
Well, and like the guy's like, I like some bourbon. It's like, you drunk right now?
Yeah.
And then this creep, I want to look her right in the eye, give her my full-throated endorsement.
Right. So that came off as creepy to you,
Yes!
too? Okay, just to make sure.
Very creepy.
Okay, just making sure.
Like, if I was trying to be creepy, I would essentially say something like that. Let's hear that again.
Woman wants to be president? Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
That's some weird subtext, bro.
It is. It really is. And I know he's supposed to be a supporter, or that's at least what he's
And why
paid
is
to
he
do,
sitting that way?
It
looks like he's posing for, like,
Vogue magazine?
Or like a prom picture. They're trying to get creative. Like, oh, this is my high school senior photo.
Because that's how men really sit, Joey.
Well, let's keep going.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
I am man enough to know what kind of donuts I like. All of them.
Yeah, but do you say it like that?
No, I just say, give me a donut.
Yeah, man enough to know what kind of donuts I
said
like.
that?
Oh, my God.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Who said, what, is that something I got to worry about in the campaign now? Donut talk?
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
This sounds like what a wife would say.
Right. And because of the invention of the telephone, you don't have to admit that you're lost anymore. You don't have to tell anybody. You just tell your phone.
Wait, is this
Just
like
get you
a
out.
hostage video?
Awful. Awful.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women. Or one of those pants books that the sisters like. I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it. I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me. I love women. I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge. And I'm man enough to help them win.
Can we get a T-check on aisle 12?
Oh, that's bad. Like, who doesn't like movies? Like, for a while, I enjoyed watching Love Actually, but you cry?
No, I never cried in Love Actually. I've cried in a lot of movies, but that wasn't one.
I laughed. I mean, Bill Nye, he's the rock star, and, he ends up with his fat manager. That's funny. But I didn't cry.
I didn't.
What, you cry at Good Will Hunting?
No, I thought it was great too. You like apples? I mean, come on. Not like it was Old Yeller or something.
Oh, I got to go see about a girl. It's not your fault. That's probably what he cried. It's not your fault.
Yeah, he had that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a genius just like Matt Damon, and nobody knew it. That's not your fault. The trauma's not your fault, son. It's not. That is a fun thing to say to people. Hey, Eddie.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
No, I know it.
And do it aggressively. Like, no, it's not.
I know.
I'm tearing up right now.
I grew up in a house full of women.
All right.
It wasn't my fault.
No, I just feel like there are a lot of guys voting for Trump, especially dark MAGA types, who hear that and go, what is this cartoon character version of, like, I'm a man?
Do you know any men like that, period? That would, I mean, I know men that are open with their feelings.
Yeah.
And I know men that cry at movies.
I know men who are very supportive of the women in their lives.
Yes.
And
yes.
I know that they're, voting for Trump.
Right.
Because they care about, other issues. Wow. If they think the vast majority of men are going Trump's way because they're scared of women, well, what 28-year-old, 30-year-old female marketing executive wrote that up? Give me a break.
If they're so out of touch that they can't even come up with a good commercial for a campaign to relate to you and me and other people, how do you think they're going to run this damn country?
Badly. Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Prattville Carpet. Normally you talk to Ray Bowles, but he's busy today.
That's right.
Which is a good problem for Ray to have.
Heck yeah, man.
But at Prattville Carpet, they're doing a great sale on carpet and luxury vinyl plank. I think up to 50% off, which is just an amazing deal. Also doing a free a raffle for a free brand new countertop. But to get in that raffle, get in that drawing, you got to stop by the actual store, 2201 Cobbs Ford Road. And again, whether you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl plank, ceramic tile, maybe to remodel the kitchen or bathroom.
Right.
Maybe you're just a man who likes to cry, but you're still voting for Trump. Prattville Carpet, folks. 285-8117. That number, 285-8117. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Yeah, it's just so... It's like people sitting in a marketing meeting. What do guys like? Like they like bourbon and trucks and stuff and shooting things.
Right. We could work with that. But how'd you come up with that?
Yeah, it was too cute by half. Isn't that the...
Again, if they think that, hey, this is what we can do to reach these people, you're way out of touch, man.
Yeah.
If they'll do this in campaigning, imagine what they'll do when they're running it. How out of touch they'll be.
I'm man enough to listen to Big Pharma.
Oh, I don't know about
I'm
that one.
man enough to trust what the TV people tell me.
Oh, yeah. Man enough to take all my vaccines.
I'm man enough to understand everything the New York Times writes is true.
Ooh, that would be not good.
Especially their framing, always true. Yeah, anyway, let's get out of here.
All
Greg
right, man.
Budell, a real man, a real American.
Man's man.
He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. About 23,000 North Carolina residents of the 1.5 million who lost power in the region after Helene still lack electricity. Without it, they can't keep their medicines cold, pump well water, recharge their phones, or apply for federal disaster aid. Crews from all over are helping Duke Energy make the needed repairs, but it's slow going in the dense mountain forest. The U.S. will send more equipment and some troops to Israel at the direction of President Biden. The Pentagon authorized the deployment of advanced missile defense system to Israel. And both presidential candidates are appearing in key battleground state, Pennsylvania, today. The Dow had 217 points, the NASDAQ composite up 180. This is SRN News.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good